Hello, everybody. No. And every week, every fucking week, the last 3 weeks, Evan, every week. Stop. Right, so for you guys at home that don't see the behind the scenes bit, we have the countdown and I go 5 seconds, guys, and everyone hushes up. And as soon as I press live, Evan opens his mic. Weird. Anyway, hello, everybody.
It's not me every time.
Shush. Fingers on lips.
And welcome back to Tales on Tap. Thank you very much for joining us, and we're hoping you're having a wonderful day and a wonderful week so far. We are, of course, joined by our crew this evening. Natalie's just doing a little bit of behind-the-scenes stuff, and will be with us very shortly, but Natalie is here with us. Just camera's not quite on yet. We are back for the next episode of Aerilon, A Destined Journey. We're up to episode 18 now. But before we get into the action tonight, we do have to run through a few quick announcements. So, to kick us off tonight, I'm going to say... Dan, you can kick us off this evening. Why don't you tell us about one of our sponsors?
Yes, our first sponsor is the one who makes the wonderful maps and the tokens that make us shit our pants when we see giants on very nice scenic scapes, is Tom Cardell's Battlemaps. If you want to bring something great to either real life or online, then go to his website, purchase his things, all the links down in the dungeon below. Show some support to content creators in our space.
Love that. Thank you. Han?
Sure thing. If you are looking for adventure modules that are neurodivergent accessible and also queer friendly, then head over to Awfully Queer Heroes. They have a drive-through RPG page and a Patreon where you can purchase all of their products. They have maps, spellbooks, all the works. Loads of things to enhance your D&D adventures, so head over to the links down in the dungeon.
Amazing. And like I said, Natalie is currently doing some stuff behind the camera and is muted. So, our other wonderful sponsor is Valkyrie RPG. If you want some dice, terrain, apparel, was it, Dan? Something like that. Yeah. Some other cool D&D stuff. They've got source books. They've got all sorts of things. They've got an offer that is just about to run out where I think there's 50% off certain items across store that you can stack with the Tales 10 to get another 10% off. So go and check the link down below for Valkyrie RPG. They've been a long time sponsor and we love them, so you should go and love them too. Excellent. Evan, what's happening in social media space?
If you want shitty internet, come to my place.
Oh, thanks.
No, jokes aside,
Wait, what?
Social media is about to blow up as we get closer to not only where we're gonna break for this campaign for a little bit, but where we're gonna start for the new sort of interim campaign. So check out social media for news and all the good stuff.
Amazing. Thank you. Chris, there's got to be some things happening soon with us, right?
Of course there is. You can catch this episode and all of our previous episodes from this campaign in podcast form. We released them in 2 parts. The first part will be on Thursday, the second part on Sunday, so you can listen to your Tales on Tap on the go if you can't stick with us live. We understand. However, if you do stick with us live and you watched until the end of last episode, as Evan mentioned just now, we are going to have an interim campaign coming up soon, which we are titling Aerilon, Sins of the Peacekeeper. So make sure you're checking out our social medias and Discord for more information on that. We are going to the UK Games Expo. We're going to be there. We're going to be hanging around. We're going to be shooting some videos like we did last year. And we're probably going to do a little meet and greet, probably with our friends at Valkyrie RPG. So make sure you check out our social medias for more information on that.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And that about wraps up all the announcements. Only a couple of extra bits to get through. If you're watching this video on YouTube, make sure you hit like. Just drop a comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. If you're listening on the podcast, go over to YouTube, hit like, comment, like the podcast, drop 5 stars everywhere. Just come and show us all the love and appreciation you can, because it means the world to us, and it gives the YouTube algorithm and all the other algorithms the juice they need to push our videos in front of more people. So
algorithms.
That's what I said.
And juice.
It's
we're trying to induce an algorithm.
Juice the algorithm.
It's been a long weekend. If we caught last week, you will know that I got married on Sunday, and all these wonderful people came to join us. So
we got married.
All of us.
Yeah, we got married. So we're all a little bit tired, a little bit fuzzy right now, but beyond that, we're all good. So we're going to kick into tonight's episode. If you want to hit that subscribe button down below, do so. If not, don't worry about it. You don't have to subscribe to come and watch our shit. Just come and join us and That's all we ever ask. But if you pay for Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription a month anyway. You don't have to spend it here, but if you do, wait, you get some free emotes and some other cool stuff that unlocks once you do that. So go do that. Cool. So I have lost track as to who needs to roll. I believe, Chris, you're not in the running this week. Han, you did it a couple of weeks ago, so I'm going to say Dan. Oh, I can't remember. Everyone just roll me a d20.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Everyone,
Let's
we
just
should decide again.
Yeah, let's just do it again. I can't remember.
It was everyone bar me, but I'm happy to put my name in there.
I got a 20.
Oh,
Me too.
Cool.
Hey!
I got a 7.
I got an 11.
Come on, save me. Save me, Pim. Or Evan.
Either, whoever.
So this is where we all sit
Like that.
bated breath because
Three.
Evan's like rolling in slow
But you got 3.
motion.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, now we can.
3?
We're calling it a 3.
Wait, Evan, you're taking notes. Cool. So, when we come back after the break and I'm halfway through my recap, we'll go, yes, a 3. So, sit back, relax, get yourself a drink, because we're about to dive into tonight's episode of Tales on Tap.
Tails on tap!
Tails on top.
So, if you did catch last week's episode, you'll know that Miko was here and was supposed to do the recap this week, but some events transpired that meant he isn't here. So I have picked up the mantle and I'm going to do the recap this week. So I'm sorry. Where we picked up last episode, we rejoined our wonderful group of adventurers in their homestead within the city of Windmere, right off the back of Kyria hearing a voice in their head saying that they do not belong here. Kyria freaked out a little bit, was trying to be consoled by Liana, and they started going from corporeal to the other one. Did I get that right? Was that wrong?
You did, incorporeal.
Boom,
Yes,
boom.
from corporeal to incorporeal. I'm so proud.
I learned, and was freaking the fuck out, essentially. And it did not go well until eventually Pim and Miko offered some kind words of advice that managed to settle Kyria's heart and regain some control over what was happening to them at that point. Edivir and Virgil went outside. Some discussions were had about not only Kyria, but everything that had transpired the previous day. The guys started to put together the fact that Kyria had no idea that 100 years had passed since their last recollection of time. Virgil had done a lot of research and a lot of events that had transpired that Kyria had mentioned or made hint towards previously happened some time ago, and though Virgil thought it best to keep that information from Kyria at the time, Edivir made sound suggestion that sometimes keeping information from friends isn't always the best course of action. Though, when they rejoined the group back in the property, a decision had been made to help Ombrin out in his latest and greatest quest, which was to go and find the Horizon Seeker in the wilds of Skyhaven, and to try and reunite him with whatever family they may or may not be able to find out there. Virgil, upon hearing this plan, decided it was probably best not to kind of have that conversation with Kyria, although he did try to broach it initially, but Kyria just said that then wasn't the right time, so that's to look forward to, I guess. Then Pym told the group that he had an idea of a way to get out of the city. That's right, you guessed it. Through the sewers. Woo! Hopefully there's no were-rats and it won't go as well as it did last time, but it went without a hitch. They managed to get the way through the sewer systems of the city of Windmere and out to the outer wall of the city. They spent the next hour or two traveling northeast towards their next destination, and they came across the hut that belonged to the Lady Druid that had looked after not only Pym but Ombrin as well. But it wasn't as they remember it, as the hut itself had degraded to a point where it looked almost abandoned and had been abandoned some time ago. Though confusing, the group had understood that maybe it was an illusion when Pym and Ombrin were there last. Without paying it much mind at that point, they decided to head further out into the wilderness. And as they started to gain good time and good distance across the hills and the rolling lands of Skyhaven, they were then encountered by a rather fierce beast, a hill giant that had been roaming the lands. Though some of the party decided that it was probably a good idea to get as far away from this thing as humanly possible, for the most part, that advice was ignored, and a hell of a battle ensued. And a battle that put not one, not two, but 3 party members out of commission at certain points in the fight. And towards the end of the fight, when both Pimothy and Ombrin had been knocked unconscious and some death saves were made, choices had to be made as well. Who do we save? And how quickly can we get to both of them? The team rushed to both the aid of Pym and Ombrin, though the concentration, for the most part, initially was on Pym, as Pym was squashed underneath the hill giant. So, through some bouts of strength, they managed to get the hill giant off of Pym, and Bark pulling Pym out from underneath the hill giant's weight. A healing spell was cast on Pym, who then went into a dream sequence. A dream sequence of him within a forest where he encountered a sort of stag-like creature who told Pym that it was not his time yet. Pym then came rushing back to consciousness, and the group's attention then shifted to Ombrin. They tried countless times to bring Ombrin back to his feet through the use of as much healing magic as possible, as well as some tinkering with his construct form, try and bring Ombrin back to life. However, the group was sadly unsuccessful. Ombrin had slipped into a deep stasis, where he was back aboard the Horizon Seeker, where he met his captain again, who offered him a choice to set sail on the next big adventure, or to stay right where he is. Though a tough decision, Ombrin decided that his heart truly lay with the Horizon Seeker and with the captain, and he decided to join him on the greatest adventure ever. As they sailed off on the Horizon Seeker to exactly that. We pick up tonight's session with the group stood over the body. That wasn't right. That wasn't bad, right? That was
excellently done.
so good.
You need to stop
pretty much.
these fucking speeches.
Why are we doing this?
I know. So, will the group continue to head towards the Horizon Seeker? What will they do with Ombrin's now lifeless construct form? We'll find out this evening. The camera zooms in. The light fades from the eyes of Ombrin. Kyria, Edivir, and Virgil, you 3 currently stood over Ombrin's form. Pim, Bark, and Liana, feet away, not too far. There's only about 5-10 feet between you all. But you all stand all together.
Ombrin?
Edivir's like still pushing down certain parts that were sort of beginning to spring out.
Mm-hmm.
Do we hear any sort of audible zzz or like power down? Any kind of?
No, you don't hear an audible power down as such, no. All you kind of see is the head that was quite kind of straight and like was held in position just kind of goes and kind of like falls back a little bit as all the mechanisms and things that were holding things in place start to give way.
Edivir just kind of takes one of the daggers off his chest and bonks it over Ombrin's head.
You hear on the wind, he's already dead. Nothing happens, Edivir, as you would like it to be.
Virgil sort of looks over Ombrin, sort of over Ombrin. His hands were not pushing things in, but necessarily, but sort of trying to lift bits up, trying to trace, see if there's anything there. And you watch for just sort of place them gently down. He's not there anymore, Edivir. Not there.
He's not there anymore. And Kyria starts looking around for the spirit of Ombrin.
I would like everybody, apart from Kyria,
Oh, here we go again.
to take off your headsets.
Do you remember when we
And
played this game?
so, just before you do, I'm going to put my hand up again once it's safe enough for you guys to put your headsets back on. Please take them off and just put them to the side so you can't hear this next
Sorry,
interaction.
guys.
Kyria,
Yeah.
you look around. I need you to make me a perception check first of all, please.
Okay. Hang on. This dice is rolling really well. Check out Valkyrie RPG. It's a flat 17.
So, you start to look out on the horizon and around. And with a 17, you see out in the direction that you are heading, on the crest where the land meets the sky, you see this very silhouetted form of Ombrin, who kind of turns and starts ushering you that way and points in a direction and starts rushing off that way, rushes back to the top of the hill, looks at you, Kyria. And just waves. One second.
No.
Just no. 1 second. No. So that's what you see, but I'm going to stay with you. Everyone can put the headset back on now. As I wait for everyone to put your headset back on, that's fine.
Okay, cool.
Oh, Evan's just frozen.
Oh,
And now he has his headset on. Weird. So as you see that, the rest of you, and those especially close to Ombrin's body here, are as the canister on Ombrin's back opens, and the little hummingbird flies out, flies up into the face of Ombrin, turns to all of you, flies and lands on your shoulder, Kyria, as you're waving.
It's okay. He's over there.
The rest of you turn to look at where Kyria is waving, and you don't see anything.
He's over there.
Hummingbird kind of like looks towards you, Kyria, looks off, and flies, and just kind of hovers in and around all of you.
You can go join him if you want. You can stay with us.
Just stays floating around 10 minutes or so, like 10 minutes, 10 feet or so above Ombrin's body at the moment.
Eddie's kind of just stepped away and just lit a cigarette. He's just standing a couple of feet away from the group, just smoking, facing into the forest.
Oh yeah. Is there anything that he wants?
He's quite far away. Hang on. I'm going to attempt to cast message at the spectral form in the distance. What do you want us to do? Keep going?
Oh, yes. It's actually not that far now. Just this way. Follow me.
Okay.
And as you look, just turns and steps over the horizon.
He wants us to follow him.
Okay, well, you lead the way, I guess.
Hard to follow someone we can't see, so yes.
Okay, I think this little friend might help as well.
Oh wait, should we? And she looks down at the lifeless form. Should we
Yes.
bring him? Okay,
Yes.
and she picks him up. Leanna can easily pick him up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she picks him up quite gently. She is trying to be respectful, and just like in front of her, carries him.
He said it's not that far now.
Oh,
DM, what time of day are we looking at right now? What are we looking at?
It's mid-afternoon. Probably
Yeah.
about 4 o'clock now. It was about 12:01 when you set off from the city. It's been about 3 hours. So about 4 in the afternoon.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I look towards the ground, DM, where Ombrin lied, and see if there's any parts of him that are like have gotten loose?
There will
Just
be
to
a
make sure that we have.
There will be a couple of little bits, maybe a couple of springs, screws, bits like that you kind of like
I'm just
gather.
gonna gather all of them and just place them in my pack. Make sure that I have everything.
Okay, no problem. Is there anything anybody else would like to do?
Sort of having watched Liana pick up Ombrin's body and very sort of awkwardly prestidigitating the mud from his fingers and nails that he'd used to try and dig him out from underneath, he just sort of Virgil turns to everyone, just, is it a good idea we keep going? Just out of sheer survivability. The fact of the matter is a lot of us were hurt during that, and we are woefully unprepared to be out in the wilds.
If we turn back now, it's for nothing.
yes. I think if we keep an eye out, and she does look directly at Pym, if we see anything that we can't easily best, then we avoid it. But I do think we need to honor this.
Leanna,
Yes?
do you want that? And they point towards the club that the hill giant dropped.
You do see this sort of, there is a sparkle, like a really excitement spark in her eye, where she's been very somber up until this point. She was like, ooh. And she's kind of just, Edifir?
I was going to say...
She hands you
okay.
Ombrin.
Okay, I'll kind of take him in a bit of a kind of over the shoulder. But I was going to say, did it look like the troll had any kind of like bag on him, or like something that he kept his favorite shiny things in?
Make me an investigation check.
Okay.
As you start to
Cool.
search.
Our friend just died, and you're looting the body of.
I was
What I just say?
See him,
Only-
I don't know what you mean. There's no problem. He's right there.
Only if the troll.
Can he roll that with
Um,
advantage? Because as I was going to say that I would, as grabbing the club, I would probably have a quick shifty over as well. So
Sure. Roll with advantage.
First one was 17, second one is 16.
Okay, with a 17, you don't see that the troll didn't have a bag as such. However, as you're searching, you do see, or you do manage to find, tucked into their sort of rudimentary loincloth thing, is this little pouch that's kind of been tied to it. But the pouch is like tucked in on the inside as to not show, and you kind of like pull this little pouch out.
Okay, cool. I'll give it a little jingle or have a little look in it.
Okay, so you open it.
I'll shake it first.
Yeah. So it doesn't sound like coins or anything as that. There's a very slight metallic sound, but nothing too bad.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll whip it open a little bit and just
Okay.
inside.
So you open the pouch, and inside you see a very small collection of different types of geodes. So different kinds of like there's like what appears to be a very small like amethyst crystal, like some very like beautifully polished rocks that are all like different shades and colors. Yeah, this hill giant was a rock collector.
Okay. Pouch
Use
of rocks.
Crystal
Added to
Valley.
image.
Yep.
And his marbles. So Edivir just sort of finding them, just stuff them in one of his pouches. And
Okay.
but other than that, he'll just get back up and pick up Ombrin again
Okay.
over one shoulder.
Okay.
And I'm going to attempt to lift the club. I don't know if it's because he was huge. I don't know.
It is a little bit bigger than your great axe. It does have a little bit more weight to it, but I mean, you're strong, Leanna. You managed to like heave it up onto your shoulder. Now, whether you are going to be able to use said item at the moment, it has a lot more weight to it than a traditional battle axe or a great sword.
Yeah.
It's a heavy implement. Will take some training to be able to use it to its full potential.
As I lift it, I'm gonna try and give it a couple of swings to see if it like the momentum makes me turn and stuff. I'm gonna give it a couple of swings to try and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so you kind of like swing once, and as you're so used to like very accurately and like with a lot of precision being able to like swiftly move your axe around, you swing once with the club, and almost the weight kind of takes you off balance, and you kind of take a couple half steps with it. It will require you to do some, crunches.
Training. Yeah.
Everybody dodges apart from him. He just stands there.
Yeah, and
I can work with this. And she slings it over her shoulder, and she goes, Kyria, you said that way? Yes? And she starts walking.
okay.
She's conscious that she doesn't want to lose this ghost. So...
Okay, so just for my benefit, how is everybody looking? Okay, Edivir's fine, Leanna's okay, Kyria's okay, Virgil?
Okay, in what sense?
Health.
Health.
Oh, right, yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, Pim? You okay?
1 point above half.
Cool, we're okay then. Excellent.
I mean, I still have 2 levels of exhaustion, so I still look pretty tired, but yeah.
No problem. Okay. You all.
Just sort of as we're back to jaunting our way through the forest, Edivir would just sort of pipe up and just be like, look, we need to be a little bit more united in how we're going about these things.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we need to make sure that if we're running, we're all running in the same direction, and if we're fighting, we're all fighting. When you're on the battle lines, if one person breaks, then, the phalanx falls.
I'm sorry.
What?
That's not what I'm saying. It might have been a good idea to get away at that point, but it needs to be properly communicated and, if we're running... What's the word? Smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord. Definitely.
We need to all, share a glance, someone call it. If we're moving away, we're moving away. If we're putting on pressure, we're putting on pressure, but let's
But
let's
we
all be flying
agree,
in the right direction.
if someone says smorgasbord, we all run. Because if everyone else is running and someone decides not to run, you're on your own in a situation most of us think we all can't take. Certainly one person can't. So
I think if one person calls it, one other person agrees, we all move.
Are you going to be able to get that kind of diplomacy going in a tense battle situation, just out of curiosity?
Just need to hear smorgasbord said twice. Like a smorgasbord.
GTFO.
Smorgasbord. There we go.
I don't know what that thing fucking was. This forest has been lovely up until that point. I didn't realise that things were so bad out here. But if we are in such hostile territory, you'll...
DM, have I ever come across a hill giant in the arena before?
No.
No. Okay.
DM, have I ever had stories of either my dad telling me or having read?
No, not that you remember your dad telling you about,
Okay.
but there is there's a short story in your favourite storybook that your dad gave you way back when. There is a very short story about a hill giant in there.
A large beanstalk.
But the hill giant in there, the story didn't depict a hill giant being as aggressive and violent as this, because the hill giant there just wanted to get home in time for the feast. And the short story was all about how this hill giant was going to get across a canyon and a river and through a forest and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope my tone doesn't make anyone think that I'm blaming them for anything or saying that anyone made the wrong decisions. I'm just trying to get the point off in a serious way.
I should have managed my... I tapped myself out too quickly.
Look.
I had to save you, Pim.
We did what we could, and none of us could foresee that. No one could have seen that coming.
As you were all walking, Kyria, I can't remember, what was the name of the hummingbird? We decided last session, but I can't for the life of me remember what it was called.
Did we?
Miko, put the name of the hummingbird in chat for me.
Yeah, Miko, tell us.
The hummingbird kind of sticks towards you and sits on your shoulder for the most part, because you're sticking quite closely between where Ombrin would be within this this group.
I'm kind of gonna maybe as we go, I'm gonna pick a couple of loose twigs up off of the ground and nest them between my horns and my hair and make a makeshift nest in my hair.
Okay, nice.
So perch on the horn and then also go into my hair if it wants.
Nice.
As Leanna is quite close to her and close to them and seeing that they're making a little home for them. Ombrin used to talk to that thing. Can you do that? Like the way you talk and annoy Tana?
Hello, Mr. Hummingbird. I am the bumblebee. Casting message.
Nothing back.
Absolutely not, no.
Oh, it was just a thought.
Virgil looks to Edivir as this is going on and goes, Bumblebee.
I like it. I've got a few go-bys, so why not, eh? You should think of one for yourself. Listen, and if Pim's anywhere close, I'll get you as well. But I know getting into all these fights and stuff is not what you're used to, and it can shake you up a little bit, and that will improve with time. If you're ever in a bind, feel like you're in a bit too deep, just shout dag, and I'll come running. You're never alone. Got each other's backs.
I appreciate
You
it.
do a lot more than you think. I can see it in all of us.
It's just, as long as we're prepared, let's just get on with this journey, shall we?
Well, do you mind taking this for a couple of hours? It's really heavy.
As Dag says that, Virgil just goes, no, my ribs are still completely busted. I'm just couldn't carry a single thing. I'm sorry.
He turns to look at the 17-year-old halfling Pim.
I'll take
Don't worry
him.
about it. It's you still need to.
I'm gonna smack Dag with my staff. Like to the side.
I'll take him.
I'll sort of lower Ombrin's form down a little bit and sort of begin to rest it on Pim's shoulders a little bit, still kind of holding up certain bits. Does he seem like he's struggling or?
Pim, make me an athletics check, please. Pim, you take 24 points of crushing damage.
16.
16.
With a -1, so I rolled at 17.
You see Pim just kind of initially dips a little bit under the weight, but then kind of like shifts himself back under it and just really lifts from the legs, and essentially just kind of like wraps the arms around and just holds the arms in front and walks. And this is one of the biggest times, or the most prominent times, that you've seen such a determined bout of athleticism from Pim.
Yeah, so as I sort of release the last bits of weight of what I'm holding, Edivir just kind of stops and just watches Pim walk on with Ombrin on his shoulders for a minute.
I'm like holding my left hand to sort of clutch, and then I'm walking with the staff, and I'm like properly trying to leverage myself on the staff as I'm walking.
I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you.
Literally, Sam. I'm literally Sam.
Eddie just kind of stops, and just after Pim gets a little bit further away from him, he just laughs a bit to himself, or like just grins a bit, just a little nose exhale, and then just keeps walking after him.
Mm-hmm.
So another hour or two passes. You continue over hills and through dales of the Skyhaven wilderness until Pim, as you kind of crest the next hill, and this is a bit of a steep hill to get up, and a couple of your friends offer to like, come on, if you need help, Pim, and you just like completely one-track mind focus, just dragging yourself up this hill. It hurts. Your leg, your thighs and your calves are burning at this point. But you get to the crest of the top of this hill, Pim, and just off in the distance, off to the left, you see the sight of a crashed ship.
Over there. West of here.
You guys all reach the top of the hill with him and look out and see that just off a mile or so in the distance, off to the west, you see that there is the site of a crashed ship.
Do I see any pillars of smoke that might indicate a nearby encampment? Or
That is a great question. You do see not a pillar of smoke, but you see a light source on the ground near where the ship is, and something you spot out of it. Well, in fact, roll me a perception. Let me see if you do spot it, actually.
It's a mile away, so
Guidance.
Oh, I think
Oh.
I did. Oh, guidance as well. I'll take that. It's a good roll. Perception +3, so 24.
24.
4 on the guidance.
You do. So, upon closer inspection, and as you kind of like narrow your sight in towards this light source, you do see a small plume of smoke rise to around 5 or so meters before it just stops. Completely stops. Almost as if there is something just stopping this rising up into the sky.
Okay. Edivir would say, well, whoever's there, they're trying to conceal their presence. Might be Greybeard, might be someone else. We should approach with caution.
How smashed up is this ship? Just from looking at it from where we are, like, is it?
It's hard
is
to
it a
tell.
hole? Is it? Okay.
Hard to tell from where you are.
Okay.
It's not like in two distinct chunks or
No,
anything.
nothing like that. No.
As we approach, I'm not just keeping an eye on the goal. I'm looking left to it and right to it to make sure is there like large wooded areas that, you know, ambushes could come out from, or if there's large rock areas. I'm trying to look for tactical advantages from other people that we could be stumbling in upon.
Make me a perception check, please.
Look at us learning. I'm just looking for Ombrin.
Okay.
My friends.
Kyria, I'd like you to make me a perception check, please.
Okay.
I think knowing having our destination in sight at this point, Edivir would sort of skulk off a bit ahead.
Okay.
Stealthy, and try and just make sure there's no one waiting for us. And just
Okay.
to get a bead on this camp.
No problem.
23.
23. You see that where this image of this ship is, and the site of this ship and the small campfire and such, there is, in fact, a rather large grouping of trees. Not so much a forest, but there is a large grouping of trees and bushels and such behind it. And off to one side of it, there are a few small rock formations. Nothing too crazy, but a few rock formations and such. But for the most part, it does just look like it's out in the open.
Okay,
so Leanna, while approaching, she's as Dag disappeared, she will shout, "Keep within range," and then she is keeping an eye on both of those for movement, like
Okay.
any heads popping up or, you know, that sort of thing. But she's going to keep a conscious eye on movement
Okay.
in those two areas.
Cool. Kyria, what did you roll?
Oh, I'm back on track with a 2.
Woo!
With a 2.
Butterfly.
Okay. So you, with a 2, look out towards where the ship is, and you're looking for Ombrin specifically over in that direction. You do not see Ombrin in that direction at all.
It's gone. Ombrin. I was going to ask if everybody else could see him, but I guess not.
If he was leading us here, maybe he
Maybe he went
he's
inside.
gone. No.
No, I think he's inside.
Edivir, as you start skulking off, I hate that word. Like,
I'm also like looking out for any traps as well.
okay, how close are you trying to get to this thing?
So what I was picturing, I don't think is what it is, because it's out in the open. Yeah, it's not surrounded by forest.
No.
Okay, so I guess I'll go from if there's any rock outcrops or anything like that. I'll just be trying to get as close as I can until it is just open grass all the way there. You know.
Okay.
So it's close enough to see movement in this little sort of
okay.
camp.
Okay.
Dome or
So
whatever.
you start heading off in that direction, and I'll say you go 200-300 meters off in that direction, and something strikes you as a bit strange, Edivir. Because the closer you get, the further away this ship seems. And as you get closer and closer, the imagery of this ship begins to fade. And you quicken your pace a little bit, because something's not quite right. And as you rush forward, say another 50 meters, it disappears entirely.
Okay. Is this camp that we saw from a distance?
Nope.
Also
Nothing.
not visible.
As you woof, the imagery of where the ship shows disappears entirely.
If I look
The forest,
back, do I see my friend?
Yeah. So you see your friends. Everything else is as it should be. You see the forest. You see the rock outcropping. You see where the ship was. There is just land, but no ship.
Okay, I'm going to head back.
Okay. So you start heading back. Kyria.
Yeah.
Off to your right. So as everybody's looking left, the hummingbird flies off your shoulder and starts flying off to the right. And as you kind of like look, you see that where this hill is, and it starts to dip down into this real deep kind of Dale,
Yeah.
you see the hummingbird starts flying off in that direction, and as you kind of like look at the bottom of the dale, you see a very familiar figure stood, leaning on a rock, just looking up. Apparently, nothing at all. Doesn't seem to be anything else there, but they just kind of like leant up against a rock, like just looking up, like this.
I messaged down.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was over there. What are you doing over here?
Oh no, it is over this way.
Oh. Are there two ships?
I don't believe so. There is only one ship like this that I've ever seen.
And this is it? You found it?
I believe so.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, hang on. I'll get everyone. I kind of turn around. Okay. Guys. He sent us over here.
But the ship is over there.
Well, he says that the ship we're after is this way.
There's two ships?
Edivir, you start racing up the hill back towards your friends.
Right, there's definitely some funky voodoo going on here.
What do you mean?
As I approached, if I look back, is it there again?
Yep.
I don't know. I can't explain it. Virgil, maybe you'll understand a bit more, but I'm not sure if we should get much closer. It seems to be, I don't know, what would you call it? An illusion of some kind. The closer I got, the further away it seemed, until eventually it wasn't there at all. I don't know. It's just.
Well, Ombrin says it's right over here.
Was there anything under the image once you'd gotten close enough for it to disappear?
Just nothing. Just floor. But I think if Kiri is able to communicate with Ombrin still, then I'd trust that more than whatever's down there.
From what Edivir has described, sort of thinking on illusory magic, does this sound like a flat image that has been placed over a certain spot? But so it's like one of those images that changes the closer you get. So it's flat and looks like it's there, but as you get closer, it's sort of you see it flatten until you can't see it anymore. It's like a static image over an area.
So you've asked me to describe what Edivir has said to you.
No, I'm asking if what he's describing sounds like that. If I put the things together in my head, as he gets closer to it and the image kind of disappears.
I'm going to say maybe. It's hard for me to describe that based on what Edivir would know and has described to you. You know that there are some illusion magics that work like that. You also know that there are illusion magics that project major images over a large scale in a specific location. You also know that there are ways to control illusions and set rules and boundaries upon illusions. Yeah. Now, it seems that from what Edivir has described to you, it's a very sophisticated level of magic, though.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, if it is illusory magic and someone is casting it in the wrong area, they are exceptionally good at doing it because you can control these things from afar and set rules and all that kind of stuff. I don't like chasing ghosts particularly, but if Ombrin says they're over there, then so be it.
I look at Kyria like, he didn't mean that.
Kyria just doesn't pay attention. Hannah's glaring at you, but
I mean, it's what you do.
So, Kyria, you just start heading off down towards the dale. Okay.
Yeah, unless anybody's like, not so fast, but I'm literally like, I see Ombrin, I'm gonna go to Ombrin.
I don't think any of us are
I'm just following.
Leanna stops for a second and she's like, I can see it with my eyes. And this is obviously she's not that intelligent and she's very confused about the fact that what she can see isn't real, but what she can't see is real. So she stops for a second, and once they all pass her, she's just like, fine, and goes after them, but there is a massive hesitance to not trust her own eyes.
Before Edivir sort of leaves the area where we're in right now, He's going to look back at where this ship is.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to also note some of the nearby topography, like the things that you mentioned to Liana, just so that if he was to return to this place, he would be able to pinpoint where that ship was. If it's not there anymore, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. We can do that.
And then
So-
I'll follow them.
As you start making your way down the hill into this dale, you get to Kyria about 50 feet from where the imagery of Ombrin is, as he just kind of like looks, smiles at you, looks back, takes a step away from you, and disappears entirely.
Hey! Bryn, wait, come back. And I pick up my pace, and I'm now like full pout going down this dale.
Wait.
Kyria,
You're just running.
I'm going.
Okay. You
like to where I saw like Ombrin
Okay.
disappear from.
Okay, so you rush down.
Yeah.
And I would say that Kyria is a good 50 feet, like 50, 60 feet away from the rest of the group. Pim next, and then obviously Liana, Virgil, and Edivir following behind. You see Kyria run to this kind of large rock that's just kind of in the middle of this dale. Kind of stop, look back towards you, and step, and disappear entirely.
Kyria! And Edivir's going to like do one of those little sort of jump and then slide down the hill that we're all walking down. And
Nice.
then pick up onto his feet as he gets to the bottom and just run towards that area.
Okay, so
Leona's going as fast as she can. It's half speed, but she is going as fast as she possibly can, and she's probably pushing herself past what is more comfortable to try and catch up.
okay, you race down the hill, all of you at pace, and you step through this sort of veil. And as Edivir, you step through, you'd be next to step through. Kyria is almost there. Like, you step through and almost like intersect and hit and run into Kyria's back. Kyria, as you step through, you are greeted by a very interesting sight. As you step through, you see before you this huge airship that's almost cratered into the ground a little bit. Nose down ever so slightly more than the rest of its hull. As you see this huge airship, and it is a majestic sight to behold. The rest of you catch up, and almost like the old school like comedy films, as you go poof, 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 and like kind of like almost fall over each other as you kind of like enter this space. You see in front of you this huge, sleek wooden hull of this great big airship. The wooden hull itself is adorned with intricate carvings and runes, hinting at the ancient magic that could power this thing. Tall masts rise into the sky, their tattered sails bellowing in the wind like wings of a giant bird. The bow of the ship and the figurehead itself dug into the earth, so the actual figurehead as such you can't see. You see, however, that there is, across the whole length of this wooden hull, beautiful kind of electric blue paint that has been like a go faster stripe essentially all the way down the hull of the ship. And as you are all stood looking and marveling at this magnificent sight, Liana, you hear a very familiar voice. Oh, You decided to join me after all, and you brought friends. Fantastic.
Does Leanna remember the voice? Oh, it says familiar. Is this Greybeard?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Who else is it?
I know.
She's stupid. I don't know.
Well,
Right,
yeah.
just checking.
Yeah.
Right.
As you kind of turn and you see sat on this roped pulley system, like halfway up the hull of the ship off to the right, you see the sight of Greybeard, who's kind of who hangs back on this thing, goes, Hey, how are you doing? I'll be right down. And just starts winching himself as you see this little platform that he's sat on start to come down towards the ground.
Leanna says to everyone that hasn't met him before, that's Greybeard.
Edivir kind of steps around Kyria, putting a hand on their shoulder as he passes, and looks up at the ship and just says, "That is a beauty." From a carpenter's perspective,
Yes.
how much work does this thing need?
So, to
much
your trained eye, you can see that there has definitely been a lot of repairs already done on this thing. I
don't know what kind of magic it needs back, but it's a whole.
Yeah, so you can see that there are a lot of planks across the hull that are unpainted, different shade to the original. You can see that where Greybeard is currently, he's got a tin of paint. He's currently varnishing some of these fresher planks that he's obviously custom fit himself as he begins to winch himself down. But you can tell that a lot of work has gone into just putting things fixing holes and putting things back the way they were. You see, as you look up to the masts, two of the masts are sort of this deep oak color. The main central mast itself is a maple, so it's a little lighter in shade to the other two, you can tell that there's been months of work gone into this thing.
Okay, cool. So from a structural perspective, it's nearing completion. Sort of.
It looks almost complete. Greybeard has, and as you kind of look around your surroundings, you'll see there are saw benches, and there are loads of planks and ropes and loads of materials just scattered in and around the base of this thing. Tim, you hear a very faint but very unmistakable. Hold on, I need to sneeze.
That's what I hear.
Oh, that messed me up. So you hear from inside Ombrin a very faint beeping. Boop. Boop. Boop.
That's interesting.
Greybeard.
Can anyone else hear that?
Hear what?
It's like a beeping sound from Ombrin.
Kyria, you see the hummingbird darts up and onto, and as if arching up and onto what the deck of the ship is. It just up.
Mr. Greybeard, sir, how do we get up there?
Greybeard kind of gets off the plank system and starts meandering over, kind of hobbling as he did in the city. He's obviously got, quite bad joints in his age,
Bestie.
and just kind of hobbles over a little bit and goes, friends, welcome, all of you. Firstly, how the devil did you find it? I've worked hard to make sure that this thing couldn't be found, but you 6, you 6, obviously didn't have any trouble at all. That is some
Friend
going.
shows where it is.
Friend?
Yes, he gone? I think he might be up there. How do I get up there?
Oh, well, we use the pulley system. It took me a little while to set that up. No, and as you go to walk past, he kind of grabs you by the arm and goes, just hold on a minute. Let's just make some things very clear before you start running off up onto the ship. This is my ship. I found it. Belongs to me. With my permission, being the captain, you may board my vessel. Are we clear?
Thank you.
With my permission.
Without you giving us permission.
I don't know you. I don't mean to be rude. I thought that... Sorry, maybe I misunderstood. You're here to help me fix this, right? As he kind of like looks straight to you with a very perplexed look on his face, Liana.
Yes, and yes, we are here to help you fix it, but we may have seen or know one of its previous occupants, crew, person that flew upon it.
Well, be that as it may, I've been here every day for the last 6 months. Makes it mine. My home.
We're not here to take it from you.
Edivir is kind of down by where the hull meets the ground, and he's kind of just like running his hand along some of the boards and stuff like that, checking like where the river, just admiring the work and the craftsmanship.
It's not the best you've seen, but it is good enough.
And considering this seems to have been done by one person, Edivir just sort of turns around and says, "You cut these boards yourself?"
Aye, yeah, I did, yeah.
All this must have taken you ages.
Yeah. Sunk my whole life savings into it. But, and he kind of like walks over and taps the hole and goes, "She just won't start." Now, I'm a carpenter by trade myself, and, most of the work I can do myself, but the mechanical gubbins inside, I just can't seem to get it going. Everything seems to be...
That's the beeping.
What is this beeping you're talking about?
Sorry.
Well, Ombrin said he was navigator, right? And steered the ship.
Question for you, Greybeard. Sorry, this might help clarify a few things. When you found the ship, I see you've varnished it and repainted some sections, reboarded some sections. I don't suppose it had a name on it?
No.
Part of a name?
It does. And he follow me, and he begins to walk towards the back of the ship. And as you turn and look up, you see across the base at the back the Horizon Seeker. Across the back.
Oh, fuck me.
No?
Maybe
she's a beauty, eh?
Maybe we should introduce Greybeard to our other recent late friend.
He's not late. He got here before us.
He means the body, not the spirit.
Sorry,
I presume that's what you mean.
Sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but this is one of the strangest interactions I've had with people in a while.
Oh,
your
okay,
friend arrived before you, but he's dead,
Yes,
and you've talked to spirits?
Oh, we don't need to unpack all of that. But basically, our friend here, and I kind of gesture to Pim.
Oh, yeah.
Not Pim. Yeah, him.
Well,
so-
I'll be... That is, and he begins to hobble over towards Ombrin's body and kind of like grabs Ombrin's head and just kind of...
Hey,
I've not...
I'll smack him with my staff.
Okay, roll to hit.
Not to make damage, but to try and
Pat him away.
pat him away, yeah.
Okay.
Nat 20.
Okay. Natural 20. You
I'm not trying to go for damage, but I'm trying to be like,
Okay,
it's
Chris!
like
You wrap,
The foe's eye explodes.
you wrap your staff off the back of the wrist of Greybeard. You hear an audible crunch as you hit his wrist, as he goes, ah! 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 Ah!
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I didn't mean to do that. So
What?
hard.
And you see him go and start reach and pull a wand out and point it directly at you and take 3 steps back,
I'll-
holding his hand
I'll step
up
in
like-
front.
He's touchy. I apologize. That Pim, don't hit him. I know why, but please. I'm
The boy's been for a hard day. We lost. This construct here was our friend. He helped us a great deal, and we lost him on the way here. So
begins to
I can try
lower,
and
his,
reset the bone for you if you need me to.
his wand and he goes,
I'm very, very sorry, sir.
it's,
I did not mean to. Please, let me heal that for you.
no matter. No, it's okay. I've hit my thumb with more nails
I'm
over the
sorry.
last 6 months than I care to imagine, and look, and he kind of holds his thumb up and it's fine. He kind of runs his hand over and you see his eyes kind of glow a white light ever slightly as he runs his hand over his wrist, and even between his hand and his wrist, this whitish light glows, and he goes, ah, there we go. Just like new. I apologize. I didn't mean to
Understandable.
offend. I did not know that your friend here departed. You have my utmost apologies. I was excited. I've not seen craftsmanship like this in God,
none taken.
30 years.
Like standing between Bim and this guy, looking at both of them. He's like, none taken.
No, I'm
Wait, sorry.
I'm sorry for swatting your hand away.
It's okay. So, but you're telling me that this was that. Yes. Okay. This is good. This is good news. That would mean that this is from. Okay. So the stories might be true after all. Okay. I'll a lot of this probably isn't going to make sense. Just follow me. We today could be the day. And he just kind of like, you see this like youthful excitement in him as you see the hobble does not deter him from running to the winch, sits down on it and goes, come on. Who's first? Let's go.
I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm ready
Kyria
to burst to
jumps,
the...
you jump on and he just begins to winch you both up. He jumps up onto the deck of the ship and starts lowering the winch and goes, come on, all of you, up, let's go.
And he's
Pim?
just climbing up the side of a ship, something he's done many, many times before.
Pim, I know you're trying, but it's probably easier if I take him up.
It's fine.
Please.
Yeah. What about the big club?
I think this area is safe enough, and she does lower her club and place it against the ship.
The ship's hull cracks, the club falls. No, I'm joking.
I can take him. Look, let me. And before he even like kind of agrees, she's already starting to take him. Okay. Do I notice is it still beeping?
Oh God, sorry.
apparently, yeah.
Yeah. Continuously, yeah.
Ah. Okay. And as
just
I get
change the
closer
music.
to
Just put this
the
on.
winch, is the beeping getting louder or faster, or is it change? Has it got any change in it at all as I'm getting
nope.
closer to the ship?
Doesn't change.
Oh. Okay. Well, she'll just carry him over to the winch. Can this take all of us?
Probably not, no. So, Liana, it's two at a time. So you and Ombrin, you go up and pull the
Alright.
and go up, and you lower the winch back down. Pim, Virgil, you both get on and pull yourselves up, and just for the sake of brevity, let's not overcomplicate us all getting
No.
onto the ship. So you all get on the ship.
Yay!
Just
Yay!
We did
no,
it!
no, no. And that is how you play D&D, folks. Take some notes. Let's simplify the simple things. You all get onto the deck of the ship. Kyria, as Greybeard starts to lower the winch back down, the plank back down for everyone else, he kind of looks at you, and you see this genuine, like, ear-to-ear smile, and he's like, okay. Don't touch too many things. I've got to, and then I need to, And he just,
Can I have a friend to help?
and just, he doesn't even wait for you to finish. He just rushes down below deck. And you hear, like, the clanking of, like, things falling over and, like, hammer on metal and that kind of thing. But the six of you, Ombrin included, make it to the deck of this ship. You see that there has been a few repairs done. A lot of the balustrade and railings towards the top deck where the helm is have been remade. Already varnished, but you can definitely tell that there's older bits and newer bits that are like merged together. It's a kind of patchwork of different types of woods that have been used throughout the whole deck. As I say, the main mast is up, and the old sails are still on the mast, but at the base of each of the masts, you see there are fresh sails that are bundled up, ready to be put on. You see, as you all begin to kind of like wander around the top deck of this ship, I would say, Edivir, you're probably going to go ahead and head towards the helm first as one of the first ports of call, would you? Or
Well, I was going to say once, and eventually, yeah, I'd probably start looking around a little bit. But once Greybeard rushed off and we were all on deck, I'd probably pull people aside a bit. If you want to do that now.
Yeah, sure, do that.
Cool. So as he sort of runs off, and he just sort of turns around to the rest of you, says, "Well, he seems excited, but let's remember why we're here. Not to repair a ship, to find out if we can find any information, and also to lay our friend to rest back in his home."
Right.
And if what Greybeard is saying is right, and Ombrin is a key to getting this thing off the ground, then that means he'll owe us a favour or two as well. So let's not hand it over quite so willingly. Let's get an agreement in place first. These sailors, they want everything for nothing, so you've got to make sure you're getting your end of the bargain as well.
Remember that Ombrin's a person, right?
Ombrin is a person. We're all people, but once we're gone, what's left isn't us. Well, whatever you believe, but for now, as much as it might make some people uncomfortable, it's also a bargaining chip.
You seem to know how to deal with these sort of situations way better than I would. I think I speak before I think, even when I think. So I can leave this to you. I think that. And she kind of looks to Virgil as well. Like looking at the sort of what she considers the smarter minds, right? So she's like, yeah.
Any expertise I can offer, I think he's already pretty much got covered. But the actual getting things off of the ground, yeah, Virgil, that's probably more your bag.
As in physically? As in moving the ship?
No, whatever magical systems Ombrin would be interacting with, or the nature of such things.
Not necessarily. I mean, this is work beyond anything I've ever read of or seen. I don't even know what Ombrin is or what he was supposed to be about. I couldn't figure it out when I looked at him. There's no insignia, no markings. I can overlook it and see what kind of arcane magic powers it at best. But I can't repair it. I'm not. This
So
isn't
you
what I
go-
studied for.
You go into everything just reminding yourself of all the things you can't do.
No, I just know what I can and can't do, and I don't want you to overestimate my ability. Fact of the matter is, this is way beyond anything I've ever seen. I'm surprised Greybeard knows what Ombrin is. That's a surprise to me.
Well, look, at the end of the day, you're the one who's going to have the most intuition on this kind of thing. So,
You sort the deal. I will look into it as best I can.
I mean,
You're
Can't hear you, Kyria.
the talker, Edivir. You're the one who knows how to deal with these people better than I do.
I'm
Isn't
not
any of
the
us?
fucking talker. I'm just the one who says the thing that we're trying to get to while everyone's flowering around it.
Why can't we just ask Ombrin?
Are they still here?
I'm looking around for him again.
You won't be able to see Ombrin anywhere where you're stood currently.
I'm sure he's around here somewhere.
Right.
As you guys are talking, Greybeard, you hear his footsteps coming up the planked stairs, up back to the main deck. And not all of you have met Greybeard before or yet seen him, so as he, appears back on the main deck, you see this individual, and Greybeard really does kind of like, is a namesake. Not necessarily his name, but his namesake, because he dons a very thick, bushy grey beard, and it cascades down his chest almost to his kind of midsection. You see that it's grey, peppered with streaks of white and silver, and you see that his face is kind of weathered, a lot of wrinkles, kind of signs of a life well spent under the stars and the sun. However, despite his age, you do see that his eyes are sharp, kind of very keen, looks switched on, doesn't look like docile or anything. And you see that he wears a very patched and well-worn leather jacket, over a simple tunic and trousers. You see that he has a tool belt on, with various tools hanging from it, so hammers and pliers and saws and things. The impression you guys get of Greybeard is he's a bit gruff, but doesn't give you the immediate impression that he has any ill intent or malice or anything like that behind him. Again, speaks in this quite deep, rumbling voice. Yeah. As he kind of steps up and goes, right, so fixed everything I could fix. Ready?
Well,
Well?
as the captain of this vessel, I think first we should parley.
Of course. Sorry. Look, I've been working on this for some time, and this might be the day. This might be the day that we can get the Horizon Seeker in the air. And you don't know much. Did your friend tell you much about himself and his purpose and the ship and the connection? But
He told us a bit.
okay. Sorry, you wanted to parley. I seem to be running away with things.
No worries. We've met briefly, Dag.
Oh, yeah, of course, in the city. Apologies, you helped me with the nails. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you've met a few of my friends as well.
You there? Laura?
Liana.
Lucy. Liana. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool,
Liana. But your other friends, I don't think we've had the pleasure.
I'm Kyria.
Pleasure to meet you, Kyria.
And you. I've heard stories about you.
Oh, really?
Yes, mess, but I'm sure you're wonderful.
They're joking.
Oh, okay. Carrier strikes her face. It's like, what? And
In fact, you've kind of.
Yes, I'm joking.
And yeah, sorry, you two. You, Pim. They said before, right?
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Timothy, or Pim for short.
Oh.
Sorry again about your hand.
No need to apologize. It's fine. Nice to meet you, Pim. And
Nice to meet you too, sir.
well, if I am not mistaken, you are you're an Earth Genasi, right?
Yes, I am of the elemental kin. You've met a lot of us?
I've there was a cloister out east that I came across some years ago. Took me in during a harsh storm.
A cloister. That's. I'll pick your brains about that later. Virgil is my name. It's a pleasure to meet you. Let's get down to business. We can chat once the, deals have been struck. Edivir has things he needs to.
Deals. But there's a deal that you wish to strike?
Well, what my friend Virgil here is trying to say is, obviously our companion here, Ombrin, he served upon this ship, the Horizon Seeker, before it crashed. It has become a point of significance in a investigation that we're undertaking. So, we would like to investigate the ship as it lays now before we get too ahead of ourselves, trying to raise the thing, if that's even possible. But from what you seem to be saying, our friend here, who we have brought here, is an integral part of that process.
Somewhat, yeah. Yeah, you see, it's almost like so these ships, there weren't many of them made, and to be honest, they were made in secret at a skyport that doesn't appear on any map. A skyport that cannot be found, though I very much wish to find it. And this port created and crafted these ships to, I mean, these are far beyond most technological advances throughout many of the islands that make up Aerilon. And so your friend here is sort of like the needle of the compass. The ship's navigational system is the compass. Your friend here is the needle, and with
the conduit.
one without the other, it doesn't work. Now,
Sounds important.
essentially, yeah. Now, there has been attempts to try and bypass that system, but I mean, it's quite intricately made and made by minds far superior to mine.
It just so happens our friend Virgil here is an expert with magical items. I'm sure they'll be able to figure something out.
Yeah, and look, your friend Lucy here already said earlier that Liana, sorry, old age. Liana already offered to potentially help me anyway, and if you just need to look around and stuff, then by all means, like I don't mind if you want to kind of search and look through the ship. It's just as long as we're all in agreement that you're not going to take anything. I'm a very trusting person, but I still have trepidations about trusting people I've only just met, and you know how it is. Like you seem like good people, but really, how good is anybody?
Well, I mean, I assume you've you've already explored the lower decks and hold.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Were there many materials that came down with the vessel, or?
In terms of the hold, is empty, which is surprising. A ship of this size, the hold is huge. It runs almost the length of the ship, but it's empty completely. It was empty when I found it, and most of the quarters and most of the, you know.
What about the crew? Any signs of life, death?
Unfortunately, there was nobody alive when I got here, but. And he kind of like walks over to the side of the ship and kind of like points out and goes, whatever people I did find, however, I did what I could there with the gods now. I performed a very simple ceremony, much as my power would grant me, and I laid them to rest with as much dignity and honor as befitting any person.
I'm sure they appreciate that. But actually, Edivir just kind of turns around for a second and looks at Liana, just like a little glance to the side. We do have designs and plans beyond Skyhaven as well, once our business here is concluded, and a vessel of such size, you'll no doubt be looking for a crew.
Well, yeah,
That was part of our original conversation, was that we could come and help and
you
fix,
asked, there was,
and then
you might want
possibly
passage somewhere,
ride.
right?
Yeah.
I
Look,
myself am a experienced ship's carpenter, and I'm sure you'll probably want to be spending most of your time at the helm, where a true captain should be.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. As is my
I read
place.
this book once where there was this like floating jellyfish squid thing that was the captain of a ship, and it had to have a hat. So I think we should get you a hat.
Jellyfish.
It was weird. It was like, ooh, or whatever. It was a cool story. But you need a hat.
Yeah,
Don't go to gym, Bob.
I was gonna say there's a hat salesman in Windmere no.
Not for much longer.
Oh. Well, okay.
I like Kira gives a sort of smile to Edmure at that.
Well, sure. Look, if you can help me and we can get this thing moving, then you'd be helping me. It's been a hard 6 months. I've poured my life savings into this. My late wife recently passed, and the two kids have left home, and I was just rattling around the place, and the rent was put up. My landlord was trying to, raise the market price of the property, and I couldn't afford the rent for much longer, so I left and took all my belongings. I've had to sell most of my dearest possessions just for materials to fix this thing up. So really, this is my home now. I've been living here for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, freedom amongst the clouds is an often held dream, but
freedom anywhere.
Not much freedom among the clouds when you're stuck on the ground, eh?
See, for me, I used to be a sailor in my youth. I used to sail between the continents, the wind at my back, and I met my wife, settled down, and there was always that part of me that yearned for that life again. And now that I have nothing left, the only thing I ever really desire now is that freedom again. Just to be able to feel the sun on my cheeks as the sails billow, and not being constrained to any port or any landmass, just the world. And, you know, I've seen maps, and Aerilon is fairly well traveled, but I want to know what's beyond there. What's beyond the borders of a map? That's the dream.
What do you mean?
Well, there's always things that are missed off maps, places undiscovered. They're the places I want to see.
Well, I think I'll speak
So
for...
you want to be an adventurer?
I think my adventuring days are long behind me. I can handle myself against a couple of goblins, or, you know, a roaming shadow cat that might be in these hills, but beyond that, I think that my warring and fighting days are done. But
An explorer, then.
yeah, I like the sound of that. Explorer, aye, that's the life that suits me.
You remind me a lot of my pa. He always dreamed of being an explorer. So I recognize that. And she places Ombrin's body very gently down.
As you place it down and Ombrin's body hits the deck of the ship, the beeping. Beep, 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 beep,
Oh.
beep, 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 beep.
I didn't do it. I broke it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Pim, using your passive perception, you hear the same beeping from Ombrin up at the helm. So it's almost cascading around you, like beep, 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 beep.
I'm gonna tap Eddie on the side of his knee, I guess. That's about the same height, right?
If you wanted to do some kind of a deal, I guess now's the time. I know where to go next.
Okay. Well, look, I think I speak for all of us when I say that we have no intent to take what's yours. The ship, by right, should have you as its captain. And I think we would just like to share in that dream of freedom with you.
Seems like we've struck a deal then. And look, it's going to be nightfall soon. The roads around these parts get treacherous after dark. Why don't you stay the night?
Have you seen many hell giants?
I don't tend to step out beyond here, which I have ways and
imagined.
yeah, I have ways and means of not being seen. I try to keep myself to myself, really.
Was that you who made the fake ship?
Oh, yeah. Do you like that? So, what essentially everybody sees is a broken ship, and, you know, from a distance, they're like, oh, you know, it's a broken ship. And then I tell people I'm there to try and fix a broken ship, and they see it in the distance, still broken. They don't know that it's anywhere close to where I've done now, and they tend to just leave me
That's why
alone.
you think you're doing a bad job. But you're not.
But I'm not.
I'm picking up the body again.
You do so?
I'm going to move back and quickly go down the winch. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to go pick up my my club again.
Okay.
Leanna's afraid that this thing's just about to take off because of all the beeping and the connections,
Okay.
and she doesn't want to leave it behind. So
Okay.
she's.
You do so.
Eddie sort of looks down at Pim picking up the body of Ombrin, just turns to the others, just looks at them, waits for like a nod of approval.
I'm not there.
Spits in his hand and holds it out for a shake.
Rose.
Greybeard takes a cloth out of his hand, puts it in his, shakes yours, and then just takes the cloth and puts it back in his pocket, and he just kind of goes, it's wildly unsanitary, that. I never really understood why people do that.
Sailors must have changed in the last 40 years.
Must have done. Look, you're more than welcome to stay. There's enough room down below, enough spaces for you guys to bed down for the night. I've got enough provisions. We can cook some food. But
I hear food.
not from where you are, no. Down with your club,
I'll be
no.
back by now. I'll be back by now.
Well, why don't
I've been trying to contain my excitement.
Him's up the stairs.
Wait. Okay. I don't know if this is gonna work. But just in case it doesn't, just hold on.
I think it needs to be connected.
As Greybeard begins to run after you, Pim, and you say that, he goes, "Yeah, my thoughts exactly. Let's." And he kind of like runs up, and as he goes to grab Ombrin with you, and just stops himself and goes, looks at you, Pim, and goes, "May I help you?" It's just to get up the stairs.
Yeah.
And he kind of like puts his head under one arm and like lifts him, only lets you take the most of the weight, but just lifts it ever so slightly just to take the additional weight off your back, and helps you take Ombrin up the stairs, and then very respectfully takes the arm off and places the arm back on your shoulder and kind of like rests Ombrin back on your back. And
Is he reacting anything towards the tree stump next to him?
I thought Bark had dissipated after an hour.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We walked more than an hour. Yeah. He's dissipated far. I was like, this dude has seen everything.
No. Bark's not there. Don't worry. And he walks you round, and as you get to, sorry, just scroll. I've got like two separate bits of notes, like Greybeard ones and Hurrah, and I keep like boom, 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 up and down. Yeah. Like, and as you get up to the helm, Pim, you see that the Horizon Seeker boasts a state-of-the-art navigational system, a complex array of compasses, astrolobes, and even has like a makeshift board that doesn't appear to be part of the main ship, that Greybeard has custom fitted to next to the helm on the opposite side, with a chart of Aerilon pinned to it. As he kind of like wheels you round to the right hand side of where the helm is, almost to towards the navigational system, and he goes, okay, let's see here. I'm not really sure how this works. Any ideas?
Virgil might know. He's very intelligent.
Okay, well, can you... I'll take your friend for a second, if you don't mind, and then you can get Virgil.
Oh, okay.
As you lift the arms off Ombrin and hand Ombrin over towards Greybeard, Greybeard kind of just, not with intent, but just instinctively brings Ombrin round in front of him, between him and the navigational system, and you hear... Pim, as you turn to go to shout Virgil, a sudden whirl within the navigational system, and the fingertips from Ombrin go and click into the side of the main node of this navigational system, and it goes.
I go, Liana, get up!
System rebooting. And the whole ship begins to shudder and shake beneath your feet. The cracks and moans of wood kind of like bending and flexing as the whole ship begins to shake.
Do I see any loose... Okay.
That's where we're going to go for a quick break. Very close, though. Sorry. We are going to go for a quick break, though. We're going to be back in about 10 minutes. We will find out what happens next. Please don't go anywhere. We will be back very shortly.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
See you soon.
The Into the Wilds Battlemap book series from Tom Kartos returns with Volume 3, the Urban Edition. Into the Wilds is a collection of fully customizable, biome and region themed battlemap books for your favourite tabletop RPG. They are ideal for preset or random encounters, so you can be fully prepared no matter which direction your players choose to head in. Volume 3 includes castles and keeps, towns and cities, and traders and dwellings. Everything you need for an urban-based campaign. The returning Volumes 1 and 2 include a variety of overworld and underworld maps for travels through the wilderness. The battle maps come in 2 variations, a fully furnished, highly detailed version with props and assets already placed, and a second unfurnished version for you to customize however you need with the included reusable asset stickers or that trusty dry erase marker. Each set also comes with the complete digital bundle for online play. Whether you play in person or online, the Into the Wild series contains everything you need to tell an immersive and compelling story with your friends. Back Into the Wilds Volume 3 on Kickstarter now.
Aerilon, constellation of 10 mysterious floating islands that hang in the stratosphere, each a unique treasure trove of different cultures, factions, and environments. Here, high above and obscured from the forgotten realms below, magic courses through the very air you breathe. In these lands, bravery forges destinies, and a legendary journey is about to begin. As the mysteries of this strange land are being unraveled, a malevolent power seeks to shroud this wondrous realm in eternal darkness. But where there is darkness, there will always be those who rise to meet it. Brave souls will have to confront horrors that defy imagination and unravel secrets that question the very essence of magic itself. In the face of adversity, would-be heroes must find the strength in each other and the bonds they forge with the people of Aerilon. For it's the power of unity, resolve, and courage that will carry them forward through the skies. Embark on a destined journey aboard a skyship to discover verdant forests, sun-blasted deserts, winter tundras, bustling cities, mountains, and depths. This is Aerilon, and it's here that our journey begins. Hello, everybody, And welcome back. So, you guys just begin to feel the ship, the Horizon Seeker, shake underneath your feet and start to come to life. Pim, you hear, "System initializing. Stand by for diagnostics. Primary power restored. Secondary systems coming online. Warning, power levels critical. Recommend immediate recharge. Navigational system offline. Calculating current position.
Virgil?
Life support systems operational. Oxygen levels within acceptable parameters. Hull integrity at 80%. Recommend inspection for structural damage. Communications array offline. Emergency beacon deactivated. Weather analysis in progress. No immediate threats detected. Alert. Intrusion detected. No immediate threats detected. Fuel reserves at 30. Fuel reserves at 10%. Prepare to refuel upon landing. Initiating self-diagnostics. I know, I was just sending you all wild, I know. Initiating self-diagnostic routine. Please stand by. Welcome aboard the Horizon Seeker.
While that rumbling was happening, with the ship was moving, yeah?
It was literally just rumbling.
Of course, so the first thing Edivir was doing. Oh, shit.
I know, go on.
Okay, sorry, I'm glitching. I've got bad internet as well. The internet lurgies are spreading. Yeah, just like instinctively looks around at the masts and the side rails of the ship for ropes that are just tied with a loose end to try and fasten himself.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of roach everywhere, and you manage to just go up to one of the balustrades and just wrap instinctively, like not around the race, just around the arm, grabbing hold of that and the raglan. Cool. Pim, you feel the ship, and you see Greybeard go. Goldbeard's a different character who comes later, much later. Note to self, NPC, Goldbeard. And you see Greybeard just kind of go, yes! Oh! And kind of like drops to his knees, like, and begins to, like, you see 2 tears just form and fall down his cheek. It's just like, oh! Thank you! Oh!
You're welcome. You okay?
It's just, if it didn't work, and this is my whole life savings are in this thing, and Max, it worked.
Just to clarify, we haven't taken off, right?
No. It's just rumbling in place. It's not taken off.
So Edivir, you just hear Edivir shout from the main deck, just like, "We're not up yet. I think something might be wrong."
I don't know. I don't know what to do at this point. Any help would be great.
Ombrin.
You start speaking to Ombrin, and you get no response. The voice that you heard was not Ombrin's.
Okay, Horizon Seeker? Somebody?
State designation. Name and rank.
Timothy Quickfoot.
I'm sorry. That username is not recognized. Please enter your mother's maiden name.
He selects 4 motorcycles.
Virgil,
What
what's
was
your
your first
username?
pet's? What was your first pet's name?
What? So
What's
what?
a username?
I don't know. What do you? What is it? What's it asking for? What is it saying?
Say something about a name and a rank.
So if it's still
System recalibrating.
my best guess would be if it's still under the old ship's log, it might be looking for the original crew or someone of that nature and their rank, probably captain or lower. It's not going to be any of us.
Okay.
Can I remember back if Ombrin ever mentioned his captain's name?
I'm going to. I'm not going to ask you to roll because that would be unfair. He never mentioned the captain's name.
Okay.
Recalibration requires rebooting of all systems. Please authorize.
Authorization granted, I guess.
The ship just like it stops shuddering and just stops. And Greybeard kind of turns to you and goes, "No, no, 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 no! What have you done? What?
I turned it off and on again.
Edivir, when it stops shaking, he just unties the rope from around his waist, just looks over to Virgil, says, "Go see if you can help up there. I'm going to check below decks."
Fine. Okay, let's see what we can do. And Virgil will start heading up to the wheel.
Kyria, during
helm.
all of
Thank you.
Yep.
Kyria, during all of this, kind of like stumbled a little bit when the ship started moving
You
again.
almost called it a boat, and I almost
Yeah,
went,
I
and Kyria falls off.
I did. Just a big boat. No. It's basically on a little like search party for Ombrin's spirit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you immediately start looking around the main deck and up to the foredeck at the front, and then eventually start heading up to the helm with Virgil. Liana, what would you like to do at this point? Do you want to go up to the main to the helm with Virgil and Kyria, or what are you going to do? Liana, you're up.
So no, she wouldn't have headed to the helm because that's brain stuff, and
Yep.
she knows that's not her zone. So seeing Edivir go below, she's probably going to try and help him. She is completely lost of what she's supposed to be doing right now. So she was like, "I'll follow Edivir. He might need help," and that's what I will be doing.
Okay.
So, DM, from my
Yes.
previous experience, most of these skyships, if not all of them, are the main method of their flight is what?
Sorry. The main
what's
method
like,
of...
yeah, what's the magical method?
Okay.
Are we talking about like big crystals, or are we talking about like something?
Okay, so you would know this. So you, as I've mentioned, and you have all seen the crystal within the High City. These crystals are dotted around every island throughout Aerilon. Most of you have come across them. They are different in sizes in different places. What you know is that the largest of these crystals often were very revered in ancient times, and cities and towns were built around them, and vast years of study were made on these crystals. And what was found when people were studying these crystals is that the crystals had anti-gravitational properties. Now, around 150 to 200 years ago, these crystals were harnessed in a way that gave airships the ability to become airships and fly. And the anti-gravitational properties were put to use. Now, initially, these were only able to be powered for short flights over a few miles, and over time, the technology got better and better, improved, and now there's a conglomerate called Tesla that own all the rights to all. So there's
The owner claims he came up with the idea, but actually he just hired people to do it for him.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a whole thing. But he also owns he also owns this like newspaper that you can put all your own personal.
Okay, stop.
Hey, he don't own this yet.
Yeah. So, Skyhaven News. You don't know that. His name is Muskilon. Anyway. So you
elongate.
Yeah. So you know that that is how all airships are powered, is through harnessing the use of these crystals. Now, these crystals hold innate magical properties that are eternally powered. They never run out of battery or juice. They just work, Chris. Isn't that such a delightful concept?
I know, right? No, because I want to know why. But given that knowledge, how would I describe how they look when they are functioning properly?
So, you know that every crystal throughout the realm of Aerilon has this very faint, light sky-colored blue glow to them. Yeah. However, when they are harnessed in such a way to give airships power or other air vehicles power, they have to send other magical energies into them to give them more of a purplish hue. It's still very blue, but much like similar to your background, how it's kind of like bluey purple. It has that sort of hue to it, and very similar to your background, it has this sort of cloudy effect within the crystal when it's energized and powered.
So as Leanna sort of runs down to the lower deck, she'd come upon Edivir kind of maybe running back out of a door back into the sort of main deck, or not main deck, but whatever the first deck is down, the first floor. Or the basement floor, whatever. I don't know. I'll look it up later. And he just sort of turns to you and says, "We're looking for a kind of bluey purple crystal, kind of cloudy. Might be like, swirling around a little bit. If it looks anything other than that, then there's probably a problem. But that's what we're looking for.
And why are we looking for this?
Because that's what makes these boats float."
Oh, okay. Gotcha. And you've looked down there, right? And she just points to the door that you've come out of.
Yeah, I mean, this is a bigger ship than I've ever been on, but they're usually below decks.
Okay, well, let's split up. You go this way, I'll go that way.
Very obvious.
Are they big?
Well, for this, I'd imagine it would have to be probably bigger than anyone I've seen.
Big
or
or
multiple
small
of them.
ones. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know how it works. I just know that they work.
I can appreciate that.
And the magic.
I don't.
With magical magic.
Yeah.
So
Kiri can have inspiration.
So once he disappears one way, I will take the opposite direction, and I am looking out for big ass glowy crystals.
Okay, is that all you guys are looking for right now? Are you going to be looking for anything else in the meantime while you're searching for this?
I mean, I'm taking note of the different rooms. Like, if I walk into a room with, a bunch of cannons in it or something like that, I'll be like, I know that, but I'm not going to stick around. I'm going to keep going until I find this, but I'm still taking note of things as I go.
Okay.
I mean, Leanna would probably, if she comes into a room that looks like it's inhabited or was inhabited by like personal belongings, she would probably get a bit sidetracked looking through those because of what she is.
Yeah, I'm definitely focusing completely on ship's functions.
Okay.
So if I see any like cabins or anything like that, I'll probably just shut the door straight away.
Okay, investigation check then from the both of you.
Investigation. It's +1, so that's an 18.
I got an 18 on the dice for a 22.
Hey.
Ooh.
Okay. Liana, you don't find the engine room. Edivir will. Just because of how the dice are rolled, I'm just going to dictate the higher dice is the direction that you went in. Going to roll it like that. So you start searching round the ship. You don't find the engine room. However, you do start to pick up a few okay about the ship. So you see, and the lower you get into the cargo hold, you see that the cargo hold itself is spacious enough to accommodate a lot of supplies, like a vast amount of supplies. You find what was the living quarters for the crew. You see that it provides a certain level of comfort. It's not luxurious by any stretch, but it has been custom fit, so to speak, to house at least 10 members of the ship, so 10 crewmates. It doesn't mean that there are 10 separate cabins. It is 2 separate cabins. One very much is kind of like a little bunkhouse.
Hammocks.
And things. And then the second is which is more towards the middle of the ship. So this is the first one that you come across, is a little bit more luxurious than the latter. The former. And you see that it gives you the impression that this would be the quarters for the ranking members of the crew. So, the gunsmith and the bosuns and things like that. I don't know ships ranks.
First mate, yeah.
First mate's quarters and all that kind of thing. So it's very much that it is one room, but it has been segmented into 5 sections, various sort of rooms kind of coming off each other in this larger room. With that investigation check, you managed to find one second. You managed to find, as you're kind of searching and looking through these rooms, you find a couple of items.
Ooh.
So the first thing you find is what looks to be an intricately crafted compass.
Okay.
And the second thing you find that was in the better quality cabins, in the larger room of the 5, you see that there is a trunk that was kind of wedged under one of the beds, and just peeking out from the trunk, looks like the lid's been closed in a hurry, but sticking out of there looks to be a cloak that has been woven and looks to be very fine quality.
Okay.
Okay.
I pick both of those up and I put the cloak on.
You put the cloak on?
Yeah, she's stupid.
You already have a cloak on you.
Yes, but this one looks prettier, so she's going to put it on.
Okay. As you put it on, you see that around you forms roughly 5 feet off the ground, so up to your knee, because you're like 25 feet or something, right? So up to around your knee and out to a 10-foot radius around you, you see this very dense mist around you form.
Ooh.
And begin to swirl ever so slightly.
That's kind of cool.
And you are now the proud owner of the Cloud Weave Cloak.
Oh, is that on D&D Beyond? Can I add that to my sheet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
You are now the proud owner of the Cloud Weave Cloak. When draped over the shoulders, it grants limited control over the surrounding atmosphere, creating, within a 10-foot radius, a mist cloud to obscure your movements, giving you an advantage on stealth checks.
Nice.
And also creates a protective barrier against hostile weather conditions whilst wearing the cloak.
Cool.
Cool. Edivir,
Mhm.
you start searching and you come across the galley, first of all. So it has quite a, I wouldn't say a rudimentary kitchen, it's quite well fitted. The kitchen has quite a large stove, 8-burner bloody stove in there. Has all the trimmings, all the fittings that a large kitchen would need, every pot, pan imaginable, all the rest of it. The next room that you come across is the food store. You see that for the most part you can just see that there is a couple of boxes, nothing mad, of where Greybeard has just stored a couple of boxes of his own supplies in there. The next room that you come across is the engine room. Now you see that this is a beautiful tapestry, this mix between steampunk metallic piping and cog-worked, intricate piece of equipment that is also kind of melded into a much more magical and arcane element to it. You see that there are three crystals that are all connected by this kind of bronzy gold colored ring that attaches all three to them, and they are just spinning around this central axis that has this kind of purplish node in the middle. And as they're spinning ever so slightly, and it's only every now and again, that a spark will come from that node into one of the crystals as it just rotates around it. But with your investigation check, as you're looking around, you see that where this main ship's engine contraption is, just kind of tucked under one of the apparatus that has loads of dials and gauges on it, there's a small wooden box that has a lid that's sort of half off it, and inside is a crystal, a blue crystal. Isn't anywhere near the size of the ones that are in there, but it's almost from tip of the finger down to the base of the palm sized crystal, blue in color.
Okay. None of these crystals that are spinning around that central moat look sort of like misaligned or anything like that, or?
It doesn't appear that anything's misaligned, no.
Okay, and the motes or like the sparks going into the crystals from the center, they're going to all three, yeah? There's not one that it's not going to or anything like that?
It doesn't appear to be, no.
Okay. So after sort of making a note of that for a few seconds, he'll just shout out, "I found something!" Just to see if Leanna's still around, and then I'll...
Do I hear that?
I would say very faintly, but you will hear it, yeah.
I'll
Okay, then I'll
start
run to him.
I'll start looking around this apparatus to see if there seems to be any kind of sockets or places where I can place the crystal, particularly sort of below where this main purple mote is in the middle.
Okay. I won't make you roll for it because that'd be unfair, because there isn't actually anywhere that this crystal would fit. It appears that, and it isn't exactly like just sticking out of the box either. It's like under a couple of rags and stuff. It very much looks like somebody has put it here and tried to hide it from plain sight, essentially. Okay. But if you want the crystal,
so it was under. You said it was like under a cloth.
Yes.
When I moved the cloth. Mm-hmm. Is the area under the cloth significantly less dusty? Like, does it look like something that Greybeard's put in a box and stuffed away, or does it look like something maybe he hasn't found yet?
He hasn't found. He hasn't. He may have hasn't found. It's got a bit of dust on it and things like that, but it does give you the same bluish hum that the other three crystals do.
Okay, I'll so failing to find any kind of socket or anything like that, Edivir will just kind of. And nothing's shaking anymore, right?
No. The ship is currently at a standstill.
Okay. I'll sort of, holding a tight grip on the crystal, I'll start to move my hand towards the sort of area that these other 3 crystals are floating and see if there's any reaction or resistance or attraction to that when I hold the crystal close.
Okay. So
I know you said they're much bigger, the crystals in this main configuration. I'm just trying to see whether there is a reaction simply to proximity.
Okay, so you're going to hold it up to the middle node, right?
Just hold it up to that area where the middle node is and the crystals are spinning around, but keeping as tight a grip on it as I can.
Okay.
In case
anything bad happens. Hold the crystal in and around that area, and a spark comes off the node and into the crystal, and just for a split second you rise off the ground like a few millimeters before boom. But it's fractional, but it's noticeable. Like you kind of go oh, and you kind of go oh.
Okay, I'll pull it back and I'll be like, okay, let's not try that again. Don't be stupid. Greater minds know what are going on here. Stick to what you know.
Have I arrived yet?
Yes, you will, but just after. So you won't have seen him rise up and then drop, but you see that he's like currently putting this crystal in a pocket.
Yeah.
So you said you found something?
It looks like you did as well. What the fuck is that?
Oh yeah, look, it's cool. And I switch.
Yeah, no, we're supposed to be. Never mind. It's.
So I was
very
looking
cool.
for crystals. There was no crystals over there. But you seem to have found some.
Good to know. Yeah, this seems to be the engine room, but whatever's usually powering it doesn't seem to have enough strength right now. I did find this. I'll just sort of like pull the crystal out a little bit. It seems to react somewhat to the central apparatus, but I'm not getting my fingers dirty with magical stuff.
Maybe it's like another log.
Another
you
log.
know, like when you have a fire and then there's old logs that they don't fuel the fire anymore. Maybe that's like a new log. Maybe you need to put a new log on the fire.
You might be right, but it's a lot smaller than the other ones, and when I put it close by, it seemed to take something rather than add it. I don't know. Let's go back upstairs and see how those guys are getting on. We're not flying away anywhere yet, so I think the panic and the rush is at least past for now.
Kyria and Virgil, you race up to the top deck. Kyria, you frantically in search of Ombrin, and you see Ombrin, but for a glimpse. And it's sort of like in your periphery where the helm is and where Ombrin's body is, and as you turn, he isn't there, not stood there. But the both of you appear in front of Timothy and Greybeard, and Greybeard turns and just goes, it said it was rebooting or something, and then Pim just authorized it to do something.
Right, okay. What did it say beforehand?
It said something about needing to reset all systems to reboot. And
Okay,
it
that might be a
needed
good thing.
authorization to do that.
Well, for better or worse, potentially he has opened it up to you, Greybeard, in whatever way the system is now purging itself of what was. It might now be opening itself up to what could be. What do you know of these ships? I've never even come across this technology before.
Yes, I've never come across this technology. I've just heard about this kind of technology. I don't know. I'm a carpenter. I used to sail other types of ships. I've never seen a ship like this before. I'm kind of just jamming a round peg in a square hole.
Right, but you know where they come from, or
no,
at least...
no. I know that they came from somewhere that nobody knows where that somewhere is. I'd look like were you not listening before?
No, I am, but you know more about this than I do. I'm not a sailor.
Well,
I am an arcane studier at best.
Well, could you have a look at least, and just, is there anything that you can do?
Yes, I will. Just give me some time. I will start trying my best. I don't know. It's right. So.
Yeah. No. Go on, Virgil. Sorry, one sec.
Oh yes.
No, I mean, if you want to do that first, because I'm just going to be asking questions about like stuff.
Oh yeah,
So if
okay.
you want to do something
We'll come back.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, Kyria kind of during this conversation has been like going up and almost just like a cat or a dog like sniffing another like dog or cat is like going around the figure of Ombrin with his hands like secured in, and is trying to see if at any point there's like a split where I see them both at the same time, or like if I see any sign that Ombrin is in there somehow.
Okay. Make me a perception check.
Perception. 16.
16. You don't see anything from Ombrin, but as you're kind of like looking and you kind of like move your head to one side, you see the hummingbird 10 feet back, facing away from you, kind of just very stationary in the air, kind of focused on a point a little bit ahead of it. And as you kind of like focus, you see that the image of Ombrin kind of materializes and walks past the hummingbird, past you. As it gets to you, stops and goes, "It's okay. I can take it from here." And steps into the navigational system. The whirling new user detected. Establishing connection with Central Processing Unit. Data transfer in progress. Integrating new navigational protocols. Welcome, Ombrin. Your access to the Horizon Seeker systems has been granted. System upgrade initiated. Enhancing navigational capabilities. Syncing with user interface. Customizing displays preferences for Ombrin. Warning, external interface detected. Initializing security measures. Emergency override activated. All systems now under Ombrin's control. Initializing user input. Navigation online. Power allocation redirected to support Ombrin's functions. Communication channels open. Ombrin, you have full control. And a split second later, you hear, "Hello, friends."
Hi, buddy.
Thank you for bringing me back to my ship.
It's okay.
This feels different.
Do you feel okay?
It's hard to say. My core functions have been changed somewhat. My system parameters have been extended. I
Is that
feel
a good thing?
I feel that I can control more than I used to.
I turn to Kyria and Virgil.
I think that's a good thing.
However,
Ombrin?
I still have some system capacities that are locked behind certain user parameters. I need to set up some more users. I don't suppose that my old captain's user profile would be much good now. So, please provide me with the captain's name.
Turn to
Look
Greybeard.
Greybeard.
Greybeard steps up and just goes, yep, that's me. I am Captain Greybeard. Very well. Captain Greybeard, your user profile has been initiated. You have the helm, Captain. Would you like me to set up profiles for your friends, Captain? Greybeard turns and goes, maybe later. Maybe later. Ombrin. Ombrin, could you run a full system analysis and see where we're at? Of course, Captain. I'll begin to run diagnostics immediately.
Ombrin,
Yeah?
I'm sorry.
Don't be. Though my body is no longer functional, my soul has moved on. What remains is everything else. I am no longer Ombrin as you knew, but now something else entirely.
You're the Horizon Seeker.
I like that. Have we had any word of my family?
Not much yet. Apparently a few landed in a not so great state during the crash, but how many crewmates did you have?
Oh, there were 8.
Okay, well, I think that Edivir and Liana are downstairs looking, so if they find any sign, I will let you know, and then I'll keep looking for you.
Thank you, Kyria. That is very kind. Captain, full diagnosis complete. Systems at 20% capacity. The ship is not in a state to fly right now. It will need at least 72 hours to fully recharge. Only then would full capacity be established. Would you like me to put it in low power mode? Greybeard turns and goes, I think that's wise. Yes, you have your orders. Okay, Captain. Low power mode initiated.
Sorry, I'm
Edivir.
more battery saver.
You see the screen just goes like a
really dim.
really dim.
Grayscale.
Yeah, exactly. But Edivir and Liana, you regroup with everybody. Regroup? What the fuck? Oh god. Edivir and Liana, what do?
Are we regrouping through the tweez?
Hold on. Just a side note. So, these bastards came to my wedding, and Natalie wrote in my guest book through the tweez, and I did not
That wasn't
like
the whole
it.
quote.
It
I
was.
put a sentimental quote and I added that into it.
It's fine. It came from a loving place.
So, getting up to the top, Eddie's just taking in sort of what's been going on, and Ombrin is now like locked in place at the con, I guess, right?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Dan. I'll come back to you in just a second. You had questions. I completely forgot you had questions. I'll be back in 1 second. Sorry.
Most of them have been answered. It's fine. You can just move on.
No, I'll come back to you in a second, Virgil.
It's fine. Well, if stuff's still going on, Eddie probably wouldn't interrupt. He would just return to the group.
Yeah, we'll do that first.
Let them keep doing their thing.
Virgil, over to you. What do?
I mean, it's all back on now, so everything I was going to ask is kind of done. So I'm just, yeah.
No, but it might be useful, so ask away.
So is there actually a wheel, or is he just like in sort of a upturned, sort of empty node type thing? So is Ombrin now so there was nothing there before, and he's sort of the plug that is sat in place?
No. So the ship does have a wheel as such. It's a traditional ship's wheel. There is a navigational system next to it, so almost so not so much like a computer, but very much a steampunky kind of contraption that has a screen, lots of dials moving and whirling inside.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. for the moment, until I regroup my thoughts and.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while you're looking around, just so that I can give you a little bit more, Dan, I feel like I've just answered all your stuff. So as you're kind of like looking around the helm and the board, especially with the map that's been pinned, you notice, and I'll show you on Owlbear.
I have that open.
Ooh.
You don't have it open?
No, I don't.
Oh, right, okay. Well, once you have it open, I'll show you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to drop draw. I'm going to use that one. You see that here.
He says not looking.
There.
Right, give me 2 seconds.
He's still not in.
He's just drawing circles.
Yeah, you're okay.
That was so condescending.
It wasn't meant to be.
He's just
It's
drawing
okay.
circles, don't worry.
It's okay. That's fine. So let me know when you're in, Dan.
Yeah, I will do.
Okay. Once you get in, where there are, you'll see there are 4 blue circles on the actual map on Owlbear.
Yep.
You'll see that Greybeard has put question marks on the actual map in those locations.
Cool. Where are they placed on? Are there names of continents on the map, or is it just a map?
Yeah. So there's a circle in between Vedantia, Seraphium, and Nimbusi.
Okay.
There is a circle between Nimbusi and Nebulon. There is one in between the cluster of islands, which is Mistralia, the Shadow Realm, Lumina, Ilaria, and Solasta. And then there is one off the southeast corner of Lumina.
Okay. And they don't form a shape of any kind if you just sort of.
No. He's just put a question mark.
On
It's
all of these.
it's just empty space on the map, and he's just put a question mark on them.
As everyone returns up, having sort of looked across the map and seen these question mark areas, they're sort of turning this. Well, it seems to have worked out rather well, actually. Kyria seems to have turned them back on, in whatever the way they do.
Did we hear any of Ombrin's voice as we were returning?
Possibly. You will have heard the back of it, like the end of the conversation with Kyria. And you would have heard Ombrin's very familiar voice.
Sounding slightly different. Only slightly.
And very only slightly. Yeah, well, he's changed. He's a different
Yeah.
different person.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Thematically, it does. But you kind of hear this voice, Edivir and Liana, and it almost puts a little bit of speed back into your step as you rush up, and you both rush to the main deck and look, and Ombrin's body is still lifeless there, but connected to this navigational system on either side.
Did I mishear that? Did you hear that, Edivir?
Ombrin's part of the ship.
He is the ship.
What do you mean?
He's the Horizon Seeker. Aren't you?
For what it's worth, yeah. Though, this is new to me too. It may take me some getting used to.
I mean, if a mortal can become a god or a demon, why can't a construct become a ship? I suppose.
So absurd. Like, this is D&D, isn't it, really?
Yeah, Eddie's just like, okay.
Like, yeah, I guess.
Cool. Magic, I guess.
So, if you're in the ship and no longer in your body, does your body need to be there? Because that's a bit morbid.
I don't think so. You might lay me to rest somewhere nice.
Is there somewhere you would like? Oh, this is so weird.
I have not seen enough of this place to really pick somewhere out. There were some nice places within the forest near the druid's house that I quite liked.
What about where Greybeard buried the survivors? No, not the survivors, because you don't bury survivors. Buried the guys he found.
I'm sorry?
You know,
with
I
your
said that-
family.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
That
I
would
said
be
that
nice.
We found some. We can lay you to rest with the ones we found, and I'll keep searching for your other friends.
Greybeard,
yeah?
you wouldn't happen to have found the captain, would you?
No. Unfortunately not. He wasn't among the bodies.
So, Ombrin, do you remember your time before you were the ship?
I
And
have...
you see, Edivir is kind of, even when Ombrin's talking through the navigation console,
He's addressing Ombrin,
He's
isn't
like listening every now and then, glancing back at the navigation console where the voice is coming from, but is looking at Ombrin as if Ombrin's still talking. Kind
Yeah.
of. He's still not getting his head around it.
I have retained most of my memories from before.
And removing your what's the
Corpse.
word?
Body.
Yeah, that wouldn't cause any
Tactful as always.
damage or hurt you in any way.
I do not think so. Like I said before, I am no longer the Ombrin that you once knew. I am something else entirely now. I have integrated fully with the systems of this ship. The ship and I are one. The body that you see before you, I am in no longer need of. I am being sustained by the power of this ship now. As long as the ship has power, so do I.
On that subject, I managed to find the engine room below decks, and he sort of starts addressing the wider group now. It looks like it's not fully functioning. There's 3 crystals, which is more than I've seen on any other ship, so I don't know what it will take to power them. I never really got too involved with that side of things, but I did find this, and I'll pull out the additional crystal. Ombrin, can you still see?
Unfortunately, my sensors no longer rely on sight. I have sensors around the ship that can sense life forms, detect blood types, and hostilities.
Okay, well, perhaps, I mean, can you detect what I've got in my hand now? It seems to be as similar to the crystals that power the ship, but I don't know. I don't know what to do with it.
Oh.
It's kind of
Miko
bluey.
just put the blood types is very important. Don't ask why. If you're holding a crystal in your hand that's similar to the crystals within the power system of this ship, then that is a sky shard crystal. They are found throughout the realms of Aerilon.
Could it be used to fix whatever's wrong?
Oh no. The ship is going to be fully functional. It just needs some time. It takes some time to reboot the central node to its full capacity.
Must be what I saw below.
Ombrin, if you're the ship, can you remember the moment when the ship got raided?
The system's logs do not hold that sort of information. That sort of information must have been inputted by the previous captain. Unfortunately, I do not have access to that information.
Do you have access to your memories?
I can access previous known locations, destinations, and paths the ship has traveled, and previous captain's logs. However, since the previous captain's user profile has been deleted, those profiles would only now be able to be accessed by the new captain.
We all suddenly look at Greybeard.
He kind of like looks to all of you and goes,
Remember that investigation I was talking about?
Ship, could you searched through the previous captain's records for anything to do with... And he kind of looks at you and goes,
The raid that occurred between Evercrest and Illyria.
if there are any records of the raid that occurred between Evercrest and Illyria. Searching records. Apologies, Captain. No record has been found. The
Did I
ship's...
get that wrong, guys?
The previous captain must not have inputted a log.
Greybeard, could you request access to the last captain's log?
Sure. Ship, play the last captain's log. Of course, Captain. At once. Playing captain's log. Well, it's been 14 days since we left harbour. I haven't had a proper meal for days. I need to get rid of the fucking cook. I'm going to be honest. Now, we're making good heading, good time. We should make Illyria in the next 5 days. Though, I'm not too sure it'll be safe for the lads. Might have to be a quick stop. You know, never should have took this job. Always take payment up front, that's what I was always taught. Not half now, half later. We never do business like that. I don't even know what we're fucking hauling. But, whatever it is, they want it and they want it bad, otherwise they wouldn't have hired us. Fastest ship in these skies. Also, last time I was in Mistralia, we came across something that I would very much like to see again. It was an oasis of sorts, and I've heard tale of this oasis being overrun by elemental demons, but they're protecting something of great value. I must know what that is. The lads need a decent payday, and I need out of this life. Need to settle down somewhere and... End log. Apologies. That is all the log had to offer. Would you like me to play another? Greybeard turns. That's alright for now, ship. Maintain the reboot of engines and let me know when it's fully functional.
His
Aye, Captain.
name is Ombrin,
Very well.
not ship.
Yeah. What? Why aren't you letting us talk to him? What's
You
going
are
on
talking.
here?
You are talking to him.
Yeah. What's all this special permission stuff?
It's because when Ombrin got rebooted, he needed a new captain, and since Greybeard has been repairing the Horizon Seeker, we sort of made Greybeard the captain.
Sorry, Pim. I don't mean to be rude, but no, you didn't. And I mean this in the politest possible way, but I am the captain of this ship. You didn't make me captain.
No. That's what I mean. I just mean that whilst Ombrin won't. Sorry, that's.
It's okay, but I'm pretty certain that we had an agreement that I am the captain of this is my ship. I am the captain of this ship, and once you help me, then you would get a ride, or if you said if I was in need of a crew that you might want to join the ship. That hasn't happened yet. Do you want to become crew members?
We also mentioned that we had our own designs off of Skyhaven, so it would be nice if there was some, mutual heading in the right direction.
The
same direction.
Okay, well, let me make this clear. We are of mutual agreement. We're not going anywhere for 72 hours. The ship needs to reboot. You have time to do what you need to do. I'm not going to... I owe you a great debt. And I'm a man of my word, and like I said, I think you're good people.
I was more confused in that... I don't know. I'm not quite sure how much Ombrin has changed. I thought maybe he didn't recognise us anymore or something.
No, it's... To access certain things, you need a user profile, I think the ship, Ombrin said. And not that I don't want to I don't trust you, but we're just not at that stage of our relationship yet where I would be setting you up with user profiles on a ship that you don't work on or actively contribute to yet. You know? I
don't know if that's quite true, but no, fine.
Look, you said you had things to do, and you had business in Skyhaven, and you have things that you're taking care of. Well, then, fine. I'm not going anywhere until you return. I owe you a ride, and I will take you where you ever want to go.
That was, I have to be honest, my primary concern.
Well,
if it's going to take some time for this thing to be airborne, we have other things we need to attend to. And I hope we have your word that if we do go and attend to those things and we return here, you'll still be here.
Well, how about I do one better? Ombrin, executive order. The ship will not leave Skyhaven or here until your friends return. Understood? Aye, aye, Captain. The parameters have been set. No flight will commence until my friends return. Will that do?
I don't know what a parameter is, but sounds good to me.
Look, you must all be tired. You look road worn. I mean that in the nicest possible way, but look, we're not going anywhere, and I've got a few more repairs and things I need to do. So make yourselves comfortable. There's food down below. Help yourselves. Just don't help yourselves to all of it. I need to gather provisions. In fact, you're going back to Skyhaven. Could you gather provisions if I gave you the coin?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could sort that.
There we go. How's that for the level of trust?
We could do that.
Aye, Captain.
I'm not your captain yet.
I also found a couple of things down below decks. I hope you don't mind.
Don't mind what? That you found them?
That I put this cloak on, and I think it looks really good on me.
It does, but are you intending to keep it on? We did agree that you wouldn't take anything from the ship.
Without permission. This is me asking.
I mean, it does.
He hasn't taken it from.
He just kind of does turn to Virgil and just go. I mean, it does kind of look really good on her.
It's the best she's looked in a long time.
Wow.
All right, easy, Tiger. and as he says that, he immediately turns to Leanna and no offense. Look, you've helped me, and yes, all right, I owe you. But you said a couple of things. What else have you found?
Oh, yes, and she roots around in the pockets, and she gets out the compass.
Oh, thank you.
And she hands it over.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you really need a compass with Ombrin on navigations.
He literally just turns. He just looks. He goes, "You can never be too careful."
All right, well, if we're bunking down here tonight, I wouldn't mind giving you a hand with some of those repairs if you'll take it.
I can make some food.
Yeah, the more the merrier. Yeah, there's so most of the hull repairs are done, but Ombrin, on the limited power that we have, could we maybe pull the front of the ship out of the Earth at least a little bit? There might be further damages to the hull that needs repaired, so you have your orders. And he goes, "At once, Captain." And the ship just begins to just move across, like lifts ever so slightly and moves back and comes to rest until the figurehead and the I don't know what the thing's called at the very front.
The pointy bit.
I do have it. One second.
I thought that was the figurehead.
The bow of the ship. Thank you. There we go. As it comes out, and as it does, Edivir and Greybeard, as they kind of go down to start looking over, you see that the figurehead is that of an eagle that has its wings spread across like the bow, the very first bit of the bow of the ship, and up.
A spread eagle.
Spreagle.
It's a soaring eagle. It says here. It doesn't say the word spread. I will say.
I'll just spend like the rest of the last couple of hours of the evening giving him a hand with anything he needs, passing him the right tools, maybe sort of leveling some maybe slightly misaligned planks after he's walked away from them, and just sort of sharing old sailing stories.
Okay.
Not that I have too many of them, but
No.
I might embellish a few to impress him.
So I punched this pirate and his head fell off. But no, I'm joking. So, what are the rest of you doing?
Solarian's not going to be doing much, so she's going to take a couple of minutes, probably no more than half an hour, just off the ship, swinging the club about, trying to get it to do the rock thing that she saw it doing. Now she doesn't know how that it did it, but she's trying to figure that out.
Okay. So, this is going to be a periodic skill check. Over a period of time, you're going to need to train with this club. Only once you become proficient with this particular weapon and training with it, will you then have the ability to attune to its magical properties. So, you're going to kick off the first session of training. So, this is a skill check where the skill level, the DC gets progressively. So, it's 5 skill checks that you're going to need to make, and they are going to get increasingly higher. And the last one is the highest it will be. Once you pass that, you then have full access and the ability to not only wield that weapon, but attune to it after that to then gain the magical abilities of it.
Okay.
Okay, so first question, it's quite important. Where are you doing this training?
I did say off the ship.
Off the ship,
so...
cool. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Boom! The comes down.
Greybeard's like, my life savings.
No. Executive order: do not make user profile for Lucy. Okay, so first skill check. It is going to be. So, what? So with a great sword and a great axe, it adds strength modifier, doesn't it? So it's going to be. Let's go with strength checks. Okay. So roll me a strength check, and we're going to do 5 consecutive ones over. So one session is one check. So you've got to do 5 training sessions. Training sessions must last at least an hour of undisturbed time. So only training.
She'll take that, yeah.
For a full hour, with a subsequent skill check to accompany it. Happy?
Oh, yep, I'm happy with that. I'm
Excellent.
probably having to do that at disadvantage because I've exhaustion. Right?
Then so be it.
Right. So strength check number 1. Okay, that is 21. Ooh, but
With disadvantage.
I said first one. Just
chill. It's the way you went. Ooh, that's a 21. I was like, wait. Wait a moment.
And that one's a 19.
A 19 is enough to pass, says the voice from beyond as he walks to his fridge. I'm going to sidetrack this in a minute. Once I'm going to tell Han all about the drink I'm drinking. No, it's a thing. There's a story behind it. So that is one successful strength check. So I need you to keep track of how many you do over a period of time, please. So just make a note in your notebook, club, skill checks, and that is one pass.
1 of 5. Yeah.
Yeah, one pass. And before I go to anyone else, this isn't a plug. We're not sponsored. And if anyone lives in the UK, I'm drinking Rivington Brewery No Day for a Do. Now, Han and I frequent an ale house in Preston where we live, and most summers we quite often go day drinking at this ale house. And one of the first times that I met Han properly, we went to this ale house at like 1 p.m. and sat all day drinking this and got very, very, very drunk. It was it was amazing, and it's actually my favourite beer. So no plug, but. I just thought I'd show Han, like, look at the mistakes I'm making again.
You've come back.
Yay! Pim, Virgil, Kyria, what are you guys going to be doing?
I am going to be coming full circle. Instead of digging up a body, I'm burying one.
Growth,
Yeah,
baby!
growth!
You see,
He has no bones to carve.
If anybody sees Kyria doing this, like Kyria's a dab hand with a shovel. Of like years of practice digging up bodies, and like makes no time time at all digging this grave for Ombrin. Would you like to do anything and like gather anyone and everyone?
Yeah, so I mean, I'd let people know that it's what I was going to do. Whether they wanted to come or not is up to them, because obviously, you know, people might view it differently given that Ombrin's sentience has continued on. But I think I especially make sure that Pim knows what I'm about to do. As I kind of pick up the body and begin to winch it down to where the other friends were buried.
Okay.
So if anybody wanted to join they can.
Yeah, I think Eddie would have joined at some point once this idea was sort of raised and stuff like that. If it was happening up where Ombrin was in place, I think Eddie would have asked the Horizon Seeker or Ombrin, whatever. Ombrin, before we lay your former shell to rest, is there anything you can think that might help us further on our journey that we could keep with us? He asks politely instead of just looting his friend's corpse.
Loot that body.
Well, the items that were on my body, I have no further use for. If you could find them useful, then please, it would be my honor that you wield them to your advantage.
You guys are hearing clanking as Edivir is already looking.
Literally, like, ripping his shoes up. He said yes!
No, I'm not pulling him apart. I'm just like, popping open some of the little panels and stuff.
Ombrin, so this is a bit of a tricky one, but there's something I do to kind of cherish life that's led. I know some people don't really like it, but you know, it's to kind of continue their memories and their life going on past death. But you're not technically dead, so I don't know if you want me to bother, but I could, you know, have, you know, a chunk of your leg and like carve into that if you wanted me to, or we could just not bother. It's fine too. I was just offering.
Kyria,
free of charge. Yes.
This is a very strange request, and one that I have never come across before. Is it custom for you to carve things into people's legs?
They're bones, yes.
I do not have bones.
No, I know, which is why I said just a piece. Because it's kind of all bone, really. It's all an exoskeleton.
It makes me rather uncomfortable that you would carve something into my leg, but I would very much like for you to have a small piece of me with each of you, so that you may carry me with you forever. So if there are parts of my former shell that you find nice, then please. Eddie just rips his face off. Mine!
Well, no, as I'm sort of going through some of the compartments and clip off bits, I remember at one point there was a bit that we clipped off on his forearm.
Mm-hmm.
A little panel on his forearm.
This is so morbid.
So if I'm able to
I love that. I love that. Yeah, no. Go on. Go on.
Sorry, my internet's fucked. I'll see if I can just sort of flip that off because I'm just thinking I might be able to fashion it onto like a little bracer or something like that.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
If it looks like that's something I can do, I'll take that part.
I'm going to say that you can. So, okay.
I'm going to use it as the mounting point of my wrist crossbow.
Okay. So
once I get around to building that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to allow you to take all items. I'm going to allow you to take some items. You're not looting his corpse to the bare shell. So, you can have 1 vial of acid. So, does somebody want to take note?
I'm on it.
Cool. 1 vial of acid. 1 vial of alchemist's fire. You can have 20 crossbow bolts. 1 light crossbow. The pole of collapsing. And you can't have the armor. It's built into him, unfortunately. Yeah. Thieves' tools.
Hey.
Crowbar. Hammer. A piton. Rope. Tinderbox. Torch. Water skin.
Also.
His arm blade is part of him, and so is his all-purpose tool, unfortunately.
Uh-huh.
So, there you are.
Take them crossbow belts.
Cool. While you're busy, Kyria, obviously getting preparations ready for burying Ombrin, Virgil, what are you going to be doing during this time while Kyria is digging and Edivir is helping Greybeard with repairs?
I mean, he'll be joining the small burial as well, so Virgil is probably just going to, while waiting for the funeral to commence, just take a quick trip down into the lower hull, try and find a room for himself to call his own for the evening, and then probably just take 10 minutes to sit down, and if there is any sort of reflective surfaces, he'll lower the top half of his jumpsuit and sort of unbutton his shirt, and even though he is healed, sort of take a look at the large amount of bruising that is now probably on his body, where he was hit by the mountain troll and giant troll thing, huge person that was heavy.
As you start looking at those wounds and you run your hand across, Virgil, your finger, you notice that it has spread. So it has gone further down the finger and onto the top knuckle of the hand here, and has begun to breach across and up the second finger to roughly about there.
Okay. He kind of feels himself with that finger and then sort of realizes that, I'm assuming it still feels exactly the same before it's there, but it's kind of just a numb feeling. You can feel the limb, but there is no feeling.
There's no sensation to it, like at all. And you take your other hand and start like pressing nails in to test that, and you're like, okay. But it has
spread.
Yes, and something that sets in that kind of you can't quite remember the last time you took stock of where it was last time, but it has spread at a commensurate rate compared to how long it took from the tip of the finger down to where it was last time. It's now much further along in no time at all. And you sit there for a good few minutes kind of thinking about, well, when was the last time I'd checked? What was it like this yesterday? Was this just today? And for the life of you don't know, and you haven't been keeping track, and you are almost kind of kicking yourself a bit because this is the one thing that you promised yourself that you would keep track of, and you haven't in a way.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, looking at his hand and sort of gripping it hard, trying to push blood and make a feeling of some kind, and then looking at the sort of the battered top of his torso, you just kind of. Okay, Fedor, you're forgetting yourself. You really are forgetting yourself, aren't you? This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. We have time. I will just full pointer finger up to midway on index. And he quickly makes a note on just like he flips open his spellbook towards like the very back, and just on one of the back pages just writes, right, roughly 5 centimeters to, okay, 7 centimeters of spread over there. That's fine. And that was last time I looked, I was in jail, so that was maybe a week or so. We'll keep track from now on. That's fine. So there. Okay, right. Doesn't matter. We can figure this out. Best foot forward. Best foot forward. You are not going to die anytime soon, Virgil. And he buttons his shirt up, pulls it back over, and just... Right. Kieran was burying a robot. Let's go pretend to think... Yes, no. They were. It's fine. Smiles up. Big. And he just strides from the room and starts walking back up as if he has noticed nothing.
As you go to remove yourself from the mirror, you quick hand prestidigitate the tears from your cheek and step out of the room to join everyone else.
And yeah, if he sees anyone on top deck just sort of milling about or just sort of return to form as he's like... Right, where are we? Pim, Liana's swinging that big thing. That's exactly what she should be doing. And then he looks over the banister towards Kieran and goes, that tracks. And then starts looking around for everyone else, trying to sort of see if they're gathering in or doing what they do.
Hey, Pim, what are you going to be doing during this time? I will point out, the OKS GM said, all right, who stole my stuff? Guilty.
I think Pim would be so knowing that Kyria is doing essentially going to be holding a funeral. Pim would and probably hearing from Edvir as well that there's a kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Pim would go to the kitchen and unpack a bunch of like. I won't say groceries, but it's stuff that he took from the house, from his pack,
The picnic,
and start, and start essentially see what the Greybeard had as well, and sort of combine that into like a nice little meal for a wake, essentially. So he would grab his pots and pans that he's carrying with on his backpack, his cooking utensils, and start seeing if the burners are working. If not, he's gonna just use produce flame.
Okay.
Which is the only reason why he doesn't do fire magic apart from when it comes to cooking.
Okay. As you begin cooking and starting this meal, over the tannoy in the kitchen, you hear, "Oh, Pim, I would very much like if my understanding for what you're doing is creating a meal for me. I would very much like it to be the last one we shared together, as a reminder of the good times we had."
Will do.
And Pim just starts cooking as much as he possibly can of the last meal that they had together, which was essentially breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he would basically make breakfast for dinner.
Yep.
And he would make sure that it is prepared Is there any sort of like porthole from where the kitchen is, or like is the kitchen situated so that him can sort of see outside, or is it completely enclosed?
No, you can see outside. Just unfortunately, where the galley is, it's on the opposite side to of the ship to where Kyria is. But you can, I mean, it's not hard to get across and look out of one of the other windows to see the progress, so that you can time everything perfectly. That's fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because then he would eventually be coming up with like surprisingly a lot of plates on his hands. Like Pim has done this before. This is not the first time
he's a trained
brought...
waiter.
Yeah.
He has some experience in the kitchen. It seems like. So he comes up and starts, finding a place where they can put all of it down. Then he would go to... I think I'm lagging a little bit.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
You're all
Okay.
good.
Oh, okay. It's maybe just the camera. Then he would go to the edge of the forest.
Mm-hmm.
And see if he can spot any birds specifically.
Okay. Make me a perception check. It is becoming night at this point, so it is becoming evening, so a lot of the local bird life will not be around. It may be more nocturnal birds, but we'll see.
If it's nocturnal birds, that would be fine. Perception, you said?
Mm-hmm.
17.
17.
I'm saying that with a bad voice because that's bad for Pim.
Yeah, no. Okay, so with the 17, you look around, you see, you hear an owl's like hoot within the forest somewhere. But you do see one bird, kind of off to the right-hand side towards the edge of the forested area, and there seems to be a pigeon just on one branch of the forest.
I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna cast Speak with Animals.
Okay.
Because I have my stuff.
Yeah, sure. You speak with animals.
Fuck off. Leave us alone.
Hello, friend.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good.
What do you want?
I was wondering if you could do me a favor. A friend of mine has just passed, and we would hold a
You want me to
ceremony.
peck his eyes out?
No,
I
I was wondering if you have any friends nearby, and we could potentially do a little bird song together as sort of a ceremonial goodbye.
can't sing me, mate.
Do you have any friends around?
Yeah, but
I have food if you'd like, as a sort of a payment.
what kind of food?
Well,
And I'm gonna reach into my pack and pick out whatever left that I have from the meal, and sort of the chopped up pieces of vegetables that you don't use, and things like that.
Perhaps.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait. So you want me to get my mates for a carrot and a bit of what's that? The end of a broccoli?
I can find you some more.
Yeah, all right. I like tacos.
Yeah, that's a pigeon.
How do you know what a taco is?
Have you ever had a taco before?
Not really, no.
Well, when you do, you'll know. It's the best fucking food in the world. Get me a taco and I'll get you all the friends you want. I'll even get friends for you. Little pack of friends to follow you around. Just keep feeding them tacos.
I hate how much I relate to this pigeon.
Yeah, maybe I was wrong
Give
about
me
this
some
guy.
tacos.
He's right. Guy's got his
How about-
priorities straight.
Yeah.
How about this? If you gather some friends of yours and you do just a couple of tunes for our fallen friend, the next time I'll make taco, I'll make sure to bring it here. to this very spot, like a buttload of them,
What, like 3?
like 7.
Is that more than 3?
That is more than double of 3.
I can't eat 4.
Oh, but you also have your friends, right? Imagine
Yeah,
how
I'm not
popular.
giving them
imagine
tacos.
how popular you'd be if you give
okay.
them 1 and you take 3.
Wait. So you want me to share my tacos now? Like
No.
You had me at tacos.
I'm gonna give you 3.
Oh, right,
And your
all right,
friends can have the.
Listen, tiny person. I will go and find friends, and we will sing you the best pigeon song that my people know. For your fallen friend. But if I don't get more than 3 tacos, I will be with you until the day you die. I will follow you. I will haunt your shadow. There is nowhere in this world that you'll be able to go that I will not find you.
Jesus.
That's fair. Deal.
All right.
I love the fact that we got 10 raiders to come in for that conversation.
Welcome in, Raiders.
Welcome.
Right. Pigeon negotiations are happening.
Now go make me tacos. And he just and flies off into the forest.
Okay, I'll run back.
Runs
Run
up to
up.
someone. How do you make tacos?
What the fuck is a taco?
Literally that. I'm gonna run up to the bit and go,
What is a taco and how do I make it?
A taco?
Important question. I'm gonna have a bunch of pigeons running after me if I don't make them a taco.
It's a type of knife.
No, they said it was food. Taco.
Not in my native tongue. It's not. If it's, I've not heard of it in common.
So, for the sake
Sounds
of
good though.
for the sake of brevity,
Shit.
you all gather at the side of Ombrin's grave. Over to you, Kyria.
So I think Kyria, before they begin to lay the body down, they've kind of lined Ombrin's body up with the empty grave, which is a very nicely dug grave, I just have to say. It's good. They know their stuff. But essentially what Kyria wants to try and do for, like, they're not seeing this more as a funeral, more of a kind of rite of passage for the body, knowing that the spirit is living on regardless. So it's just kind of laying the body to rest, but is wanting to try, now that they've almost got confirmation that the people they've been seeing are those who have passed away. Because before Ombrin, it had been kind of a mere coincidence. Obviously, there was the alchemist, but, you know, that in their mind, they hadn't properly grasped what was going on. But now, knowing that they've kind of followed and seen Ombrin's spirit just after the body goes offline, they're kind of putting 2 and 2 together. So they're wanting to kind of reach out to Ombrin's family that have fallen and are laid beside to see if they can channel them to be present for the funeral, essentially.
Okay. It's not quite a religion check because it's not a religious act, but I do need some form of check for this. Make me a... Let's do a persuasion check as you reach out to the beyond.
Can I, to kind of help with that, because my guidance is, it's called like Ghostly Aid or something like that. It's
Ghostly
tapping into
Aid?
No, it was what is it? Hang on. No, it's not. It's Guiding Whispers.
I was going to say, it's not Tales from the Grave, is it?
No, it's Guiding Whispers. So that's what I get my guidance from. So I'm
Sure.
going to kind of reach out to that.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, well, I'm glad I did. But it's okay. It is still a 15.
Okay. So you reach out and send words of encouragement for these individuals to step forth during...
I kind of say, I close my eyes for a second and I put my hand to the earth, trying to feel for, like sense the bone beneath and the bodies that are there, and trying to follow those like connections between bones across synapses to try and find their souls that may still be lingering near the bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of open my eyes slightly, my eyes flash white, and I say, family of Ombrin, I know that your time traveling through the skies and seeking the horizon may have come to an end, but I was wondering if you could maybe come here to say goodbye to the Ombrin that you knew. I know it mean a lot to him, and it'd just be really nice if maybe he could see you again.
You send those words out. No problem. So, Greybeard, weirdly the first to step forward and goes, Ombrin, we never knew each other, but you're now a part of my ship and my life. May your body rest without torment. May your soul drift on into Elysium. Rest easy. And picks up a small handful of dirt and throws it on and steps back. And kind of like looks to all of you and goes, it's usually customary for friends of someone departed to say some last words, though in this instance it might not be the last, but still, I think we should honor tradition.
Eddie just kind of steps forward and just like picks up some dirt from where the ground has been excavated and just kind of throws it in. He says something out loud in a language you guys don't recognize, and it's only just maybe 6 or 7 syllables. Just sounds like a sort of almost like a salute or a greeting or something like that. And then he just says, it's an honor to fight beside you, brother. And then just steps back to the back of the group.
Who's next? Pim?
Pim's gonna step forward and he's going to kneel down, take a little bit of dirt, and being very unsure of how much he can manipulate dirt, but trusting in his magical abilities and his sort of innate what's the word for it, but connection towards plant life. He's gonna try and make a flower grow. And he wants it to sort of look like similar to the leaves of the silver tree.
Okay.
And he's gonna lay that down.
Okay.
And he's gonna say,
As the wind passes through the space where branches once were, the places they now are, the forest will forever whistle a different tune, imperceivable to the ear, but in a way that inevitably is. Welcome to the trees, my friend.
Philibert drops his head and smiles probably more than you've ever seen him smile.
Virgil, you're
But
next.
he's at the back, so none of you see it.
Virgil sort of coming forward with a handful of dirt, mills it around a little bit, and looks to everyone, and then down to what's left of Ombrin, or at least the physical form of Ombrin. Ombrin, I knew you less than I would have liked, and more than I deserved. I believe my academic mind and ability to see you not as a person, but as a thing, disrupted my ability to see you for what you truly were. Apparently, my friends saw more to you than I did, and it is my fault and my faltering. And if nothing else, in your death, I will learn to look beyond mere arcane knowledge and what I know to be true. In life, you made 4 great friends, and unfortunately in death you have made a 5th. I'm sorry I was not able to be more to you. I hope what is gone is rested, and talk to you soon. And sort of just places the dirt onto Ombrin and steps back with the rest of the 3 of them.
Liana?
So Liana takes us a couple of seconds before she finally comes forward, and as she does, she picks up a handful of dirt, but also she finds 5 little pebbles on the ground. I'm not one for words, and I've only ever lost one person, so I don't really know what to say, especially when we can still talk to you. But my father said something at my brother's funeral, and I think this applies to you. He said, "May the winds guide your spirit, may the flurries protect you, and may the frost never touch you." And she grabs the 5 pebbles and she stacks them slightly at the foot of the hole. And may these stones remind us of the person you were, the person you could have been, and protect you from everything beyond that. She steps back.
Bringing us finally to Kyria.
Oh, hang on. Is this coming through the right mic?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Kyria, who has been concentrating on trying to reach the ethereal plane this entire time, has kind of been listening to what everybody's saying, and as all of these words are being spoken, they're kind of in a very low tone, kind of humming as it goes, almost kind of creating this, just this ambient noise to surround the words, kind of propelling them and hoping that they travel further and hoping that his family will hear. And Kyria, when everyone has spoken, says, "Ombrin, we didn't know you that well, but you astounded us all with all your gear and your gadgety tools. You now are one with the skies and the trees," and gives a look to Pim, "seeking that horizon, propelled by the breeze. Thank you, my friend, for giving me hope. Time may pass, but friends make it easier to cope."
Kyria. As you grab a handful of dirt and throw it, almost in slow motion, the dirt from your hand begins to glow, ever so softly, and falls almost in slow motion to cover the whole grave, until the whole grave that you've dug and buried Ombrin in begins to glow this very faint white light. And you all hear sound of a war horn. Faint, almost on the wind. And then several voices all around you begin to sing. In realms of legend, brave and true, our comrade fought, their spirit flew through dungeons dark and dragons bold. Their tales of valor forever hold. In quests they shared, in battles they fought. Their memory lives, though they depart. To distant shores they now embark. In our hearts they leave their mark. And as you all kind of look around, you see the ethereal figures of 7 or 8 shipmates of Ombrins, all with sabers raised to the sky, hands on hearts and heads bowed to the ground. And as they draw them down and back to the sky, you all hear the eruption of 2 cannons from the Horizon Seeker. Shoot up these 2 nodules of light into the sky that erupt into these white light candled fireworks that begin to drape across the sky and down as all 8 ethereal soldiers, sailors, one after another, walk to Ombrin's grave and just into it, one at a time. And as the light comes down, illuminating the sky around you, Ombrin's hummingbird flies to the flower that Pym made, lands, unfurls its wings, and is forever held in that spot. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Beautiful.
I never thought I'd sing on camera, but there we go.
Sang before the bard did.
Fantastic, dude. That was well
It
done.
was epic.
But that is where we're going to end tonight's session. We thank.
I'm gonna need to know how you make them fireworks, baby. I need some explosions like that.
So just before we quickly do go, again, go check out all the sponsors below. Valkyrie RPG have a sale on until midnight tonight, so you've got a couple of hours left. Go over to their website after this stream ends. Go show them some love. You're going to get 50% off loads of purchases. Go do that. This stream will be
10%.
Yeah.
It stacks.
Yep, exactly. Go do that. The podcast for tonight will be out on Thursday and Sunday. The VOD for this will be out on Sunday. We'll be back on Tuesday next week for episode 19. I am also trying to reach out to everybody to get everyone back on board for the finale of A Damned Voyage. But if we don't see you before, we will see you later. And yeah, before we all tap out, let's just say goodnight. So, good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Ta-ta.